Members' motion with no legislative effect. Members who wish to speak, please press the Request to Speak button. The Council will proceed to a debate on Mr. Andrew YAO's motion on comprehensively enhancing the competitiveness of Hong Kong as an international shipping center. Ms. Julia LAU will move an amendment to the motion. This Council will proceed to a joint debate on the motion and the amendment. I will first call upon Mr. Andrew YAO to speak and move the motion. Then I will call upon Ms. Julia LAU to speak, but she may not move the amendment at this stage. The joint debate now begins. I now call upon Mr. Andrew YAO to speak and move the motion. Mr. Andrew YAO. President, I move that the motion as printed on the agenda be passed. I have to declare interest. I'm a director of a maritime company. Hong Kong is a leading shipping center. We have geopolitical advantage, comprehensive law and order environment, and highly internationalized business network. The 15th five-year plan support us in consolidating and enhancing our status as an international shipping center. And it is said that we need to deepen synergies among ports in the Greater Bay Area to achieve breakthrough. And we need to promote synergistic development of ports, airport, and railway. We need to formulate our 5 years plan well to enhance our competitiveness as an international shipping center. President, over the past few years, the shipping industry have been faced with unprecedented challenge. There is a restructure of the supply chain. There's heightened geopolitical tensions, and that resulted in the loss of supply of goods. Given these structural challenges, we need to face up to them with forward-looking strategies. I visited the Maritime Museum last month, and I looked back on the great chapters of the shipping industries in the 70s and 80s. I grew up as someone from Ningbo. I listened to my elders on the stories of ports in Hong Kong. I think that the key to our competitiveness depends on whether we can consolidate our competitiveness in the Greater Bay Area. Second, the technology at ports and maritime. And third, green energy. Fourth, high-end professional services. First, we need to improve our collaboration with the Greater Bay Area. Our throughput went down to 13.8 million FCL. I think that we should work with Shenzhen, Guangdong province, and relevant peer operators as well as logistics companies to plan routes so that we can direct some of the transshipment cargoes to Kuaiting Container Terminal. This is to raise the throughput of Hong Kong to 15 million FCL to support long-term development of Hong Kong. We need to set up a clear division of duties among different ports in the Greater Bay Area. Shenzhen should focus on high-tech products. Guangzhou Port can focus on multimodal shipments, and Hong Kong can focus on international high-value products. We can transform our regional competitiveness to our overall advantage. Second, we need to enhance the usage of technology. We need to improve our competitiveness on data processing. I know that the TLB have rolled out the port community system leveraging on AI and blockchain to track cargoes. Now, some 5,800 enterprises have signed up on the port community system. As a next step, we should combine smart ports and smart shipping, and these should be our key development directions. Zhongyun have transformed from a traditional shipping company to a technology company. They make use of big data and cloud computing to track some 8,000 routes and process some 40 million data. They make use of big data to help shipping companies to plan for the most cost-effective and time-saving route. This shows that the digitalization is definitely the key to raising competitiveness. President, the government can consider providing upgrading subsidy for peer operators that cover transformation. We should support peer operators in adopting automated trawlers, and the government should also support local universities and institutions to conduct research and development on shipping. For port operators, we should be able to raise pain points faced by them on, say, decarbonization or digitalization of systems so that tertiary institutions can conduct research on those areas and provide solutions. Hong Kong should also become the data setter for shipping. We can work with the International Maritime Organization and relevant departments on the mainland to come up with a set of standards and regulations on cross-boundary flow of shipping data. Third, we should make flexible use of green energy and trial the use of electric commercial vessels. The government already promulgated the Green Bunkering Action Agenda, and Hong Kong has completed the first LNG and green methanol bunkering. However, the source of green energy is impacted by price fluctuations and geopolitical situation. So the government needs to be flexible and adjust their policies in accordance with the changes in the world. Many different cities are faring well in green transformation. Say, for example, Shanghai already come up with a roadmap on building an international green bunkering and trading center. So I think that we should learn from them. At the Pearl River Delta region, electric commercial vessels are developing very rapidly. And mobile batteries have already been developed so that vessels can achieve zero carbon emission when they are on the move and when they are at berth. This will address the issues of insufficient charging facilities. So I think that the government should look into developing the trial use of electric commercial vehicles at Victoria Harbour over the next 5 years. Fourth, we need to develop high-value added shipping, insurance, and financing service. The external environment is becoming more and more complicated, and I think that because of that, we need to enhance our market. The government should support maritime insurance companies to develop the global service network, especially on reinsurance. Hong Kong has all the conditions to build a P&I industry on their own, instead of relying on other countries. And we also need to make it more efficient for insurance to achieve a settlement, and we should promote renminbi-denominated insurance so that we can promote internationalization of renminbi, and this is how we can become a pilot platform for renminbi-denominated maritime insurance. President, we're at the key juncture to the development of the shipping industry. We need to make good use of our advantage of having support of a country and being connected to the rest of the world. I believe that with the support of our government, we will be able to build ourselves as an international shipping center. Thank you. I now put the question to you that the motion moved by Mr. Andrew YAO be passed. Ms. Julia LAU.
Hi. President, I move my amendment The National 15 Five-Year Plan states that Hong Kong needs to build 4 centers and 1 hub. An international shipping center is an important pillar for our country's dual circulation. I speak in support of today's original motion. I move the following amendment to enrich the original motion. Chapter 47 of the National 15 Five-Year Plan clearly states that we have to opt for low-carbon emission options for public transport. The Chief Executive in Maritime Week 2025 said he would work in full steam to develop Hong Kong into a greenfield bunkering center and trading center. Within 5 months' time, this March, the first green methanol vessel in Hong Kong came to Hong Kong and completed the fuel bunkering action. In 2025, there were 16 LNG bunkering activities and 110 biodiesel bunkering activities in Hong Kong. And over 220,000 green fuel was involved. This does not only signifies Hong Kong's capacity as an international maritime center, but also shows that Hong Kong is a supply platform and that we have great potential to develop a green maritime fuel trading center. This also shows our advantages under one country, two systems. Therefore, I suggest that we speed up our progress into developing Hong Kong into a green maritime fuel bunkering center. This is to respond to our country's strategy and to show our determination. My amendment mentions about the development of smart port. In 2025, the SAR government said it would work in full steam to develop Hong Kong into a smart port, and it also proposed the community port system. This is an important milestone for us, and it shows that we are moving to a new chapter. Through digital means, we can enhance our trading capacity as well as resilience. My amendment urges the SAR government to enhance the application of smart port in its 5-year plan. Building a smart port is just the first step. The next step is to deepen our trade with the GBA. Specifically, we have to continue to deepen collaboration with Guangdong in building smart port and enhancing the declaration system. We can make use of blockchain to check the status of cargo and to foster financing. This is to reduce the cost for SMEs. Also, we can enhance other electronic services so as to enhance the modules adopted by the Customs and Excise Department. This is also to improve logistics as well as the rail, sea, land model. Lastly, my amendment proposes enhancing Hong Kong's status as an international maritime arbitration center. Rule of law is core in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is one of the 4 arbitration headquarters in the world. Recently, IOMED was established in Hong Kong, and a dispute concerning vessel contract was successfully dealt with between China and Singapore. Again, this is symbolic because it shows that Hong Kong has the professionals as well as the common law system to be the premier arbitration center. We should grasp the advantages and strengths. The DOJ is building the arbitration training center as well as an academy to cultivate talents. We have successfully attracted international authoritative organizations to set up Asia-Pacific headquarters in Hong Kong. We have to build our mutual recognition system, and the relevant legislative exercise will be taken forward within this year. This is a 3-pronged approach, and this shows that Hong Kong is fully capable of building ourselves into a high-end arbitration center, and we have the engine to transform ourselves. This shows not only our capacity as a port, but also we are capable of providing high-end professional services to build ourselves into a maritime center. To ensure smooth sail, we have to dovetail with the National 15 Five-Year Plan. Your time is up.
運輸及物流
Secretary for Transport and Logistics. President, I thank Mr. Andrew YAO for moving the motion and Ms. Julia LAU for moving an amendment so that we have an opportunity to discuss in this council this important topic of comprehensively enhancing the competitiveness of Hong Kong as an international shipping center. The country has recently promulgated the National 15th Five-Year Plan. There is express support for the consolidation and enhancement of Hong Kong's position as an international shipping center. It also emphasizes the need for Hong Kong to leverage its unique advantage of being supported by the motherland and connected to the world. At the same time, the government is making every effort to formulate the first five-year plan in Hong Kong with a macro, strategic, and forward-looking perspective to lay a solid foundation for our long-term prosperity and stability. This is a timely and relevant debate. The maritime import industry has always been a key pillar of Hong Kong's economy. In 2023, the industry accounted for 1.8% of Hong Kong's GDP. That's 51.9 billion Hong Kong dollars, providing approximately 74,000 jobs or 2% of our total workforce. The maritime import industry also facilitates external trade. It is closely intertwined with the logistics sector. Together, they form a complementary industry chain that provides critical support for Hong Kong's import and export, transshipment, and supply chain operations. Hong Kong has maintained its position as the fourth in the world for the sixth consecutive year in the 2025 Xinhua Baltic International Shipping Center Development Index report. This reflects Hong Kong's world-leading overall strength in port facilities, professional maritime services, and business environment. In the face of intense regional competition, we must continue to pursue dual-core strategy of enhancing port competitiveness and improving the high value-added maritime services ecosystem. We must leverage our unique advantage of having the motherland support and connected to the world to promote sustainable development of the maritime industry. Today's motion focuses on four keywords: Greater Bay Area port synergy, technological empowerment, green fuel, and high value-added maritime services. Let me go through the work of the Transport and Logistics Bureau in the past year as a start. On Greater Bay Area collaboration, as a free port with efficient customs clearance, high operational efficiency, and strong global network, Hong Kong Port continues to serve as a critical transshipment hub and a catch-up port. In 2025, the average port stay for ocean-going container vessels in Hong Kong was only 1.03 days, significantly lower than the average of 1.99 days among the world's top 20 container ports. This is the core advantage of ours in handling high-value and time-sensitive cargo. We're deepening the rail, sea, land, river intermodal system. Cargo from inland provinces and cities such as Chongqing and Chengdu can be transported via rail sea intermodal transport through Yantian Port of Guangxi and then transferred to Hong Kong for loading onto vessels via the Kuai Yan Connect barge service or daily service. With the fastest export to overseas markets taking only 3 days, which enhances greatly logistics efficiency. The Kuai container terminals in Hong Kong and Yantian Port in Shenzhen operate different but complementary routes. Through collaboration of the two ports, we achieve win-win synergy. The government is also encouraging the industry to seize development opportunities in the Central and South American markets and build high-end port brands. The Cherry Express, which delivers cherries from Chile to Hong Kong and then to the wholesale markets in South China within a few hours, is the perfect example. Furthermore, we're actively establishing partner ports relationships with strategically significant ports in the mainland and Belt and Road regions so as to deepen our engagement with the global maritime community. During last November's Hong Kong Maritime Week, we announced the first batch of partner ports, including San Antonio Port in Chile, Dalian Port, and Guangxi Port. We strive to expand our network through business and knowledge collaboration. Technological empowerment. On digitalization, the government launched the Port Community System in mid-January 2026 as the core digital infrastructure for small port development. The system utilizes AI, blockchain, and big data technologies to provide one-stop round-the-clock real-time cargo tracking, integrating sea, land, and air transport information. It offers value-added electronic services such as single submission for multiple declarations. It aggregates logistics data from all parties. This marks a significant milestone in the digital transformation of Hong Kong's port and logistics sector. I'm happy to share with members here that within just 4 months of implementation, we've achieved a breakthrough. Over 6,000 enterprises have registered to use the system. The logistics data has also been recognized as reliable by 9 local banks for use in processes such as risk management. This facilitates trade finance and enables seamless flow of trade and capital through digitalization. Ongoing smart, the Kuaishing container terminals have for many years adopted computer systems for central resource allocation and terminal operations management. Various hardware facilities are connected within the terminals using wireless communication technology. Hardware upgrades have been implemented to enhance automation, including retrofitting traditional cranes for remote operation and introducing autonomous electric tractors in the yard, AETs. About retrofitting traditional cranes for remote operation and introducing autonomous electric tractors in the yard, we are now urging the operator of the Kuaishing container terminals to give us a clear roadmap on promoting green fuel application. To capitalize on the global maritime industry's decarbonization trend, the government promulgated the Action Trend on Green Maritime Fuel Bunkering in November 2024. It sets out clear strategies and actions to promote Hong Kong's development as a green maritime fuel bunkering and trading center. The government is actively implementing various measures to establish Hong Kong as the region's premier green fuel bunkering and trading hub. At present, we are able to provide regular biodiesel and liquefied natural gas bunkering services. That places Hong Kong among the world's major ports capable of offering a variety of green maritime fuel bunkering services shortly after the announcement. Following the legislative passage in October last year of the exemption of all duties on methanol used as marine fuel, the industry completed the first Anchorage methanol bunkering and the first simultaneous methanol bunkering and cargo operation at a container terminal in March this year. These two mark Hong Kong's capability in methanol bunkering. On developing high value-added maritime services, Hong Kong enjoys the advantage of one country, two systems, bilingual common law, free economy, and a simple and low tax regime. It is also an ideal location for global maritime services enterprises to establish their presence. Currently, about 1,200 companies related to ports shipping in Hong Kong provide professional services including shipping services, shipping finance, marine insurance, maritime legal and arbitration services. Among these, 3 of the world's top 10 ship management companies have set up headquarters in Hong Kong, and 6 of the world's top 10 shipping book runners on syndicated loans have offices in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is also one of the 4 designated arbitration venues of the Baltic and International Maritime Council, or BIMCO. Given the highly internationalized and the mobile nature of the maritime services industry, in the face of fierce competition from other regions, Hong Kong must continue to consolidate and enhance the competitiveness and the advantages of the business environment of its maritime service sector, so as to maintain our leading position and attractiveness as an international maritime center. From 2020 to 2022, we introduced tax exemptions for ship leasing and also half-rate tax concessions for maritime insurance management agency and brokering businesses, with a view to attracting shipping commercial principals and maritime service enterprises to establish in Hong Kong. We've been actively promoting these tax concessions to overseas and mainland enterprises. The number of qualifying ship lessors benefiting from these tax concessions increased from 11 in 2021 to 64 in 2023 to 24. To further promote the development of high value-added maritime services, we will submit a legislative amendment bill to the LegCo next month to optimize the existing tax concessions for the maritime services industry and introduce a half-rate tax concession regime for commodity traders, so as to consolidate our business advantages in the maritime sector. And as the trading activities are involved, this will also drive the demand for other maritime services. Through introducing tax concessions, we want to stimulate demand for shipping and professional maritime services and improve our profile. We will also leverage the synergy between high value-added maritime services and the financial services sector to expand Hong Kong's maritime insurance business. We will provide more diversified marine insurance products and more reliable service protection for ship owners in the country and around the world. Following the operation of 11 international group of P&I clubs in Hong Kong, the China Ship Owners Mutual Assurance Association officially established the Hong Kong Ship Owners Mutual Assurance Association during the Hong Kong Maritime Week last November. It becomes the first Ship Owners Mutual Protection and Indemnity Association which sets up headquarters in Hong Kong. Hong Kong's first shipping-specific risk pool has also commenced operation. That further enriches our marine insurance ecosystem. The Hong Kong Shipping Registry excels in terms of tonnage and fleet quality. Our registered ships is widely recognized. So in terms of dispute resolution, Hong Kong is the premier location, which is a seat of arbitration for maritime arbitration. And Ms. Julia Lau also mentioned the IOMET's headquarters being set up in Hong Kong in the beginning of this year. In the beginning of this month, they've resolved a contractual dispute involving the maritime industry, which is very complex. So this shows our significant advantages. The Hong Kong Shipping Registry excels in terms of tonnage and fleet quality. The quality of Hong Kong registered ships is widely recognized by international port state control authorities. With its high-quality brand, the detention rate of Hong Kong registered ships at ports in 2025 was only 0.79%, far lower than the global average of 3.7%. To further enhance the competitiveness of the Hong Kong Shipping Registry, we will submit a bill to LegCo within this year to reform the ship registration regime. We will introduce the new measure, and that is the dual flag arrangement, which will increase the flexibility of the registration system and accommodate the diverse and flexible operational models of the international shipping enterprises. In July last year, we established the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board, chaired by Executive Council Member Dr. Moses Chang Mo-Chi, as a high-level advisory body to assist the government in formulating policies and long-term development strategies, and to support the government in policy implementation, which will promote the sustainable development of the Hong Kong maritime industry. Since its establishment, the board has commenced work in line with government policy priorities, with focus on key areas such as automation and talent development for green maritime fuel bunkering. Thematic studies are conducted. Within less than a year, the board has visited London, Shanghai, and Geneva, so as to actively promote Hong Kong's advantages and development opportunities as an international maritime center to the global maritime and physical commodity trading industries. We're at a critical juncture, shifting from quantity to quality development. We will continue to follow the National 15th Five-Year Plan and work hand in hand with the industry to open a new chapter for the maritime industry. Now, President, I will carefully listen to members' views and then give a consolidated and detailed response at the conclusion stage. I so submit.
Dr. Alvin Lee. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Andrew YAO for proposing the original motion and Ms. Julia LAU for proposing amendments so that we can discuss how we have the country empowering Hong Kong to become an international shipping center. Without a port, Hong Kong wouldn't be Hong Kong. It really spells out the significance of the maritime industry to Hong Kong. Since the 90s, we have seen rapid growth of the maritime and port industry of Hong Kong. But in recent years, we have seen ports in the mainland rapidly rising, and we have seen restructuring in the industrial chain in the Pearl River Delta. We need to really change the industry and empower the industry so that we can move towards high valued added maritime services. Hong Kong is still one of the busiest and most efficient port in the world, and we rank the 4th in the International Shipping Development Index. We have every week over 240 international vessels calling at the Hong Kong port, coming from 500 destinations in the world. It really demonstrates Hong Kong's importance and recognition in the maritime world. And in Guangdong Province's 5-year plan, it talks about deepening port cooperation with Hong Kong and Macau. I think Mr. Andrew Yao's original motion comes at a right timing. I want to talk about how we can enhance competitiveness of the city in being a maritime, in being an international shipping center in 3 areas. First, we need to promote integration in the Greater Bay Area. As Mr. Andrew YAO and the Secretary said, we should liaise with authorities in the mainland to make sure we have the connection between Kai-Ting container terminals and Yantian Port as well as Nansha Port complement each other, and we should have a good division of work. Many port operators in Hong Kong actually have investments in ports in the mainland, so we should encourage them to divert cargoes to really take advantage of the different ports facilities. Consumers in the mainland have a great demand for high-value cargoes imported from overseas, such as seafood, as well as healthcare goods. We have our strengths in high-value-added cold chain transportation. Apart from the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, at the Kai-Ting container terminals, we have 7,800 TEU throughput. It is first in South China. So in terms of coordination in the Greater Bay Area, we can perhaps have more highly demanded transshipment cargo diverted to Hong Kong. Next up, we need to reduce costs and enhance efficiency. We need to expedite the automation and smart transformation of port. As the Secretary said, the government must take the lead in leading the industry in expediting automation and going smart. Nansha Port in Guangzhou is making use of different technologies, AI, autonomous technologies, and their equipment and software are all locally produced in the country. And it is said they can already save 70% of manpower. We should consider working with the industry to introduce technology from the mainland and work with local universities to develop more automation equipment and technologies. We should also make sure we have data connectivity for the enhancement of overall capabilities in the Greater Bay Area. Next, we need to nurture talents to provide support to the provision of high value added services, specifically for ship leasing management and shipping agency. The different services would need talents. We can make good use of the Maritime and Aviation Training Fund and work with local institutions to nurture talents for the long-term development of the maritime industry. To be an international shipping center is a positioning given to us by the country. We believe there are great challenges but also great opportunities ahead. I support the original motion. Thank you, President. Professor Lau Chi-Pang. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Andrew Yao's original motion as well as Ms. Julia Lau's amendments. We would often say, as Hong Kong is surrounded by the sea in 3 sides, we rely heavily on the sea for livelihood. And back way back in the Tang Dynasty, we are already a station in the maritime Silk Road, and vessels going to and from Guangzhou would make use of the Pearl River fairway and they would stop at Hong Kong. And we also had back then Portuguese vessels going along this maritime Silk Road to go to Guangzhou. And we had our first war in Guangdong with the European troops. In the 1850s, we had the UK starting the Opium War and occupied Hong Kong. And the UK government set down a free port policy, and we have maritime firms from the UK and the US stationing their operations in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong had become an important transshipment hub. Late 1800s, we had Japan occupy Hong Kong, and just before that, Hong Kong had already become the largest port in the Far East, and it had promoted different industries related to shipping. After we were able to fight off Japanese occupation, we have seen rapid growth of the manufacturing sector in Hong Kong. We have local conglomerates taking over port operations. We can see the development of the maritime industry is closely intertwined with the development of the economy in Hong Kong. Hong Kong ranked first in the rankings of container ports for many years. We have highly efficient privately operated terminals. We also have different plants in Hong Kong. Back then, we were important part of the South China supply chain, and we had different industries, shipping agents and whatnot. However, since the 2000s, we saw the rise of ports in Shenzhen and Shanghai. We faced great competition. The industry started promoting the development of high value added maritime services, shipping management, maritime arbitration, shipping agency. Before we were able to make significant achievements, we were faced with challenges such as the financial crisis, black-clad violence, as well as the pandemic. It has really slowed us in terms of our pace of transformation. The maritime industry today faces challenges akin to 100-odd years before we opened up our ports. We entered a plateau period. We face fierce competition, and it is not easy for us to really win in this competition. But we have our strengths. We have the right foundations to create bright prospects for the maritime industry. We have a good legal system. We are still a free port as well as a low tax system. What has changed is we have now a more mature financial system. We also have a bigger international network. There are different ways we can enhance our competitiveness. We can provide high value added services. We can have a more favorable business environment, etc. Hong Kong's maritime industry was a global hub before because it was open and flexible. What matters now in terms of competitiveness is how we can leverage on our international network and financial system to match the new standards in the digital era and an era that emphasizes green development. We can have our shipping registration, maritime insurance, and maritime arbitration advantages so that our methanol vessels can sail towards the world. I so submit.
Mr. Robert Lee. Thank you, President. In faced with the challenges brought about by the restructuring of global supply chain and geopolitical tension, Hong Kong's position as an international maritime hub has met with myriad of challenges. The government must lead the transformation and upgrade of the Hong Kong maritime industry. We need to promote high value-added professional maritime services and also nurture maritime talents. In terms of promoting high value-added professional services, there are ship leasing, marine arbitration and laws, and so on. The government should step up publicity and enhance the relevant tax concessions for these activities so as to encourage ship lessors to set up a presence in Hong Kong. At the same time, the government should discuss with the mainland authorities to establish a hedging mechanism for maritime credits and loans, and also enhance the supply of maritime financial products, including credit financing and risk hedging. Now, in terms of legal services, the BIMCO, Baltic International Maritime Organization, has listed Hong Kong as one of its 4 designated arbitration seats. Besides nurturing maritime legal talents, the Hong Kong SAR government should explore with the mainland authorities for Hong Kong registered companies to choose to use Hong Kong arbitration services in the Bay Area. We should encourage corporations to use Hong Kong's professional maritime legal services and also provide support for them. We should also support the operation of Hong Kong legal firms providing maritime services to operate in the mainland. Now, the government supports Hong Kong to establish a commodity trading ecosystem. Now, we have LME London Metal Exchange recognized warehouse, and also there will be half-rate tax concession for commodity traders. Now, in the future, we need to strengthen ancillary support for commodity traders, including using our international financial center status as well as our professional services to align Belt and Road countries, encourage them to use RMB to settle their transactions in Hong Kong. For commodities like soybeans, metals, and so on, we should enhance the supply of risk management services for these items. Now, we should transform Hong Kong into a management center for the supply chains. In terms of nurturing maritime-related talents, the government should support the extension of the Maritime Academy of the VTC to set up schools for seafarers in the mainland. There should also be collaboration with local post-secondary institutions to establish world-class maritime commerce management academies. The students in selected courses should be provided with internship opportunities on the sea, and those hours should be transferred to the credits required for obtaining a seafarer's license. Now, there are lots of maritime-related enterprises conducting IPO in Hong Kong. The government should align the resources to support the high-quality development of the maritime sector in Hong Kong. Thank you. I support the motion and the amendment. Professor Alex Fan. President, I support the motion and the amendment. The National 15th Five-Year Plan gives clear support for Hong Kong to consolidate its position as an international shipping center. Now, the motion mentions enhancing synergies among ports in the Bay Area, streamlining logistic process, and also using green fields. These are the correct directions. I will focus on ship registration, which is crucial for Hong Kong's status as an international shipping center. In April, the Secretary mentioned that the government will introduce a legislative amendments to streamline the ship registration arrangement, including allowing dual state registration, as well as providing half-rate tax concession for commodity traders. I welcome all these measures. Ship registration is the most crucial part in the entire entire industry chain. It is the starting point. A ship flying Hong Kong flag will very likely choose to use Hong Kong's professional services in terms of ship leasing, maritime law, and so on. Now, in terms of ship leasing, ship insurance, and ship arbitration, these are high value-added maritime professional services. I look forward to seeing that legislative amendments injecting more momentum to the trade. Now, I would like to make two suggestions as well. First of all, the implementation of the dual flag system must come with implementation details. Now, bearable charter is important in the system. It involves cross-jurisdictional disputes. Now, to enhance certainty, when introducing the draft bill, the government should also announce the implementation details, including the tax liability. There should be an arrangement to avoid double taxation. Second, we should clarify the priority of collateral to ensure the effectiveness of pledges. Now, three, there should be a default mechanism to sort out the liability in terms of maritime incidents. Now, we need to strike out to attract ship owners to come back to Hong Kong. And we should be a buffer between different jurisdictions. Now, C-SPANs and other leading enterprises exits from Hong Kong shows that we can't turn around the situation simply by providing more tax concessions. We must make good use of our common law advantage. Now, the HAMP DB should work with the Hong Kong Merit should work with the government to provide more administrative measures to promote the establishment of major stakeholders in Hong Kong, including maritime insurers. Now, I agree that we need to establish a highly effective arbitration system. A highly effective dispute resolution framework will attract ship owners to Hong Kong. Now, as mentioned by other colleagues, BIMCO has listed Hong Kong as one of its 4 designated arbitration seats along London and New York. Now, according to the latest survey, Hong Kong is ranked among the most popular arbitration jurisdictions in the world. Now, the IOMAT in Hong Kong has just completed arbitrating for a case involving cross-boundary, cross-jurisdictional maritime disputes. The parties chose Hong Kong instead of Singapore as the seats of arbitration. Now, in order to provide more cost-effective options to ship owners, we must formulate a one-stop platform to allow stakeholders to find a place of certainty where they can conduct business safely. Now, concerning the draft bill, it is a very important step. I hope the government would prioritize the market force and also promote Hong Kong as the most preferable ship registration place in the world. Thank you. Mr. Brave Chen. Thank you, President. I also thank the Secretary and the other Secretary for the speeches. I speak in support and gratitude of Mr. Andrew YAO's motion and Ms. Julia LAU's amendment. Comprehensively enhancing the competitiveness of Hong Kong as an international shipping center. That's how we proactively align with the National 15th Five-Year Plan and consolidate our status as a shipping center. We need to elevate our status. President Xi has been stating that the central government fully supports Hong Kong to maintain its uniqueness and advantages, including international maritime and shipping center status. Now, in the 15th Five-Year Plan, in the dedicated chapters for Hong Kong and Macau, staunch support has been given to Hong Kong. Director Xiaobaolong has mentioned that we need to speed up development of Hong Kong as a high-end international maritime center. Now, the chief executive mentioned that the maritime sector is faced with a lot of challenges in the world. There are wars going on, and a lot of ships, a lot of vessels are stranded in the Strait of Hormuz. That highlights how perilous the international landscape is. However, Hong Kong is still resilient. We are confident in Hong Kong's position as a shipping center amidst the risk, but how can we tap the opportunity? Our advantages include efficient customs clearance. How can we upgrade the logistics streams to other areas? Now, the reality is the throughput of our ports has been declining. Now, to avoid U.S. sanctions, and in this cutthroat competition, we are losing some of our advantages. However, we still have the backing of the country and the opportunities in the Bay Area. So here's some suggestions, including enhancing the digitalization of our ports, green maritime fuel bunkering, and so on. Now, I believe that it is a consensus in the world that Hong Kong is the safest in terms of international shipping center. In other places like the Middle East, the ports are threatened by missiles. Now, several countries in the UN's Security Council are in war. Now, Trump is in Beijing, and he has chosen the safest flight routes to come to our nation. So safety is priceless. So although we cannot outcompete others in terms of price, our selling point is security and safety. No matter how cheap other ports are, without security, there can be no profit. And also, we have our very strong financial system. So we can't just rely on ourselves. We have to rely on the country as well. If we can collaborate with other ports in Nansha, in Shenzhen, as well as other ports, and form a port cluster, then we can further highlight our leading position, especially when the U.S. is targeting our country. Many traders may use Hong Kong as a transshipment center. Now, in the past, when there was no sanction, Hong Kong did not have this position. So we need to ensure that there is seamless flow of data in the area. We need to empower our ports with technology and also engage in high value-added professional services. And also, with the government's bid to establish Hong Kong as a yard center, we can offer a one-stop comprehensive, multifaceted services to the world. And this is our strength. I look forward to further enhancing our status. Thank you.
Mr. Ken Wong. Madam President, I support Mr. Andrew Yao's motion. The National 15th Five-Year Plan expressly supports Hong Kong's push to consolidate and enhance our status as the international shipping center. This is how we respond and support our country's high standard opening up. This is also about our transition from stability to prosperity and how we achieve economic prosperity. We have our country's support, we have global connections, we have professional services, a free and open business environment. We are a key node in the global shipping industry. The global shipping industry is going green, going smart, and focusing on high-value cargoes. Regional competition is becoming fiercer. All that means comprehensively enhancing our competitiveness is a pressing task. Here's something we can consolidate and enhance. First, collaboration with other ports in the Greater Bay Area. We have to complement each other so that we become a stronger cluster together. Based on the existing action plan on maritime and port development strategy, we have to overcome institutional barriers. We should work with Guangzhou and Shenzhen, which are port cities. Let's work together on sharing resources. Let's enhance the routes. Let's pool our resources. Let's align our protocols. The policy just last year also proposed a rail, sea, land, and river intermodal transshipment system. We should link up with the hinterland in Western China so that we expand the reach of our operations, and that's how we can drive regional development, and then we can create a world-class cluster of ports. We should also expand our cooperation network along the Belt and Road countries so that we put ourselves in a stronger position in linking up different destinations. We should play our role in reaching out to Belt and Road countries. Now, on ports, operation, infrastructure, maritime services, and shipping routes, we should strengthen cooperation with stakeholders. We should also play a part in international standard setting. So let's work on mutual recognition of standards and certificates. And we should also work on cross-boundary logistics platforms so that we support our country in its push to achieve high standard opening up. Now, the training and nurturing of talent also matters. We should expand the existing maritime and aviation training fund. Let's expand the scope so that local universities and vocational training institutions can work with international shipping bodies. Let's get everybody to team up to launch training programs on maritime technology and green bunkering. That's how we train the professionals the industry will need for the future. Let's also review the existing talent list. We should provide incentives for maritime and green professionals to come here. We need the talent here. Comprehensively enhancing the competitiveness of Hong Kong as an international shipping center will support our country's 15th five-year plan, and that's how we can support our country's strategy. This is also a way for us to strengthen our economy, our traditional sectors. Let's go for this collaborative approach to GBA ports. Let's adopt green and low carbon transformation, and let's also focus on high-end professional services. We do that and we will be able to consolidate Hong Kong's leading position in the shipping industry, and that would be a source of strong impetus for Hong Kong's growth, and that will help us make a greater contribution to our country's push. I so submit I support the motion. Ms. Jovi Chen. I support Mr. Andrew YAO's motion on comprehensively enhancing the competitiveness of Hong Kong as an international shipping center. I also support Ms. Julia LAU's amendment. The outline of the 15th five-year plan has a dedicated chapter on Hong Kong and Macau. It's chapter 59. That chapter expressly supports our effort to maintain our long-term prosperity. Part 1 of that chapter has to do with finance, shipping, I&T, and legal services. That chapter supports Hong Kong's push to consolidate and enhance our competitiveness edge. Part 2 of that chapter requires us to deepen collaboration in the Greater Bay Area so that we can better integrate and contribute to national development. Hong Kong is an international shipping center, so this status is related to both parts of the chapter that warrants our attention. The government is working on the first five-year plan for Hong Kong. We have to align with the 15th five-year plan. The International Shipping Center is part of both the 14th and the 15th five-year plan. For us to consolidate and enhance our status as an international shipping center, we have to look beyond just the throughput. We have to look at the value. We should strengthen the Maritime and Aviation Training Fund. We should step up the training of talent. We have to go smart, go green, so that our quality chain container terminal can create value, create more quality jobs, and also make the most of Hong Kong's status as an international financial center, aviation center, and legal service and dispute resolution center. That's how we can better play our role as a super connector and a super value adder. Hong Kong has a maritime history of 150 years. We have different maritime services body in Hong Kong, such as the Maritime Protection and Indemnity Clubs. We should provide incentives for multinational maritime services enterprises to set up regional headquarters in our city so that they can make the most of our edge in having our country support and global connections. The maritime services industry will need finance, legal services, insurance, and also derivatives trading as well as commodity trading. We're also trying to forge our own commodity trading ecosystem. So as we strengthen our role as a shipping center, we will also be able to foster the development of different financial derivatives. We strengthen our role as a shipping center, we can also strengthen our status as a financial center. Now, our air freight volume put us the first in the world for a number of years. We came fourth in our shipping, and we also ranked fourth in other metrics. Those are very impressive results. We also have the HKIA Dongguan Logistics Park. That facility can drive multimodal transshipment. Under the previous president, we visited Dongguan. We learned something from the visit. We hope that what we have learned can be turned into a policy. Hong Kong is also supposed to be a legal service and dispute resolution service center. Now, as other members said, BIMCO has designated Hong Kong as one of the 4 arbitration venues alongside Singapore, London, and New York. That points to Hong Kong's leading position as a center for arbitration in maritime services. So let's tell people about this so that people can choose Hong Kong as the seat of arbitration for maritime dispute. We should seize the opportunities of the 15th Five-Year Plan. We should work with the rest of the GPA. We should focus on nurturing talent, and we should also enhance the quality chain container terminal so that we can burnish our reputation as a shipping center, as also submit. Mr. Wu Yingpeng. Thank you. The outline of the National 15th Five-Year Plan proposes consolidating and enhancing Hong Kong's status as the 4 centers and 1 hub. That's where our impetus will be. That's also how we can serve our countries with our strength. Geopolitical tensions are rising. The global supply chain is being restructured. Hong Kong has been the 4th largest shipping center for the 6th consecutive year. And for the shipping industry, it takes a lot of capital. There's a high degree of risk from shipping to the consignment. For all that, you need legal services. We have one country, 2 systems. We're aligned with the common law system, which is global practice. We have an independent judiciary and also arbitration bodies. Under the basic law, we also have judicial mutual assistance and also mutual recognition of arbitral awards with the mainland. This edge we have in legal institutions is our core strength in shipping. I want to stress the strategic role played by the International Organization for Mediation. This month, with the mediation of experts, IOMED resolved the first dispute involving ship leasing. That's a milestone for IOMED. This also shows the world that in complex international maritime disputes, IOMED has shown professionalism. It offers an efficient and amicable way of resolving commercial disputes. The SAR government is working with IOMED on a register for disputes involving commodity trading. So therefore, minerals, storage, and settlements, we're working on a dispute resolution framework. the competitiveness of our shipping industry in the future will hinge on not just the volume of throughput, but it also depends on whether we play a role in setting the rules and standards, whether we have a say in such areas. So as we draft our own first 5-year plan, we should consider a few things. First, enhancing Hong Kong's role as a maritime dispute mediation center should become a priority. We need dedicated resources for the Hong Kong International Legal Talent Training Academy to do its part. So that we need to train up maritime legal professionals. We should also promote our work overseas so that international shipping businesses and commodity traders come to IOMED for its mediation services. We should also deepen collaboration with other GBA ports. Let's adopt smart technology to upgrade our port. The SCR government should talk to the mainland authorities so that each port in the GBA can pursue differential development. Hong Kong should focus on its edge in high-value cargoes, and let's also enhance systems such as the commercial data interchange. Let's use AI to simplify processes and lower transaction costs. We should also move faster with the green transformation. Decarbonization is a global trend. We need specific policies and timetables so that we turn Hong Kong into a green maritime fuel bunkering and trading center. We should offer port concessions in port dues and tax breaks to attract more vessels to come here. I also submit to support Mr. Andrew YAO's motion and Ms. Julia LAU's amendment.
Mr. Andrew Fan. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Andrew YAO's original motion. As an important hub in Asia Pacific and a transshipment hub, Hong Kong plays an important part in international shipping. With changing geopolitics and restructuring of the global supply chain, we are losing out business. In order to align with the National 15 5-year plan, as well as at this critical juncture where we're making our first 5-year plan, we must have high value-added maritime services in Hong Kong to consolidate our status as an international shipping center to better serve the country's dual circulation layout and its strategy to become a powerhouse in shipping. First, we need to enhance and upgrade to provide high value-added one-stop maritime services. Our core competitiveness lies in our professional strengths in finance, legal services, etc. We need to break through the traditional mindset of port operations and move towards providing also high value-added maritime services. So vessels not only come to Hong Kong to load and unload cargo, but also for one-stop services in financing, compliance, risk management, etc., so that we can be more attractive to international shipping firms. We also need to actively take forward digitalization. We should make sure the port community system can be used to track cargoes as well as lower the logistic costs for enterprises. We need to implement specific measures to attract international enterprises in shipping and as well as professional organizations to set up operations in Hong Kong. We need to deepen regional cooperation in the Greater Bay Area. We need to have good division of work. The Greater Bay Area port cluster is never competing with each other. We actually share the same destiny. We need to make sure we develop ourselves as a transshipment hub as well as a high-end service center to reduce competition with neighboring ports. In fact, over 93% of the exports of Hong Kong are transshipment trades. We need to actively take forward rail, sea, land, river intermodal transport system and take forward trade single window in the Greater Bay Area to enhance transshipment efficiency. We need to have a dedicated collaboration mechanism for marine economy in the Greater Bay Area to transform regional competitive advantage into strength in development, and the Greater Bay Area port cluster can become an important part of international shipping. The long-term trend in maritime industry is to go green and move towards digitalization. The IMO has a goal of net zero emissions by 2050. So green and low carbon development and smart port development are directions we need to move towards. I support the government in making Hong Kong into a green maritime fuel bunkering center and launch relevant incentive schemes to support that. We can also make use of our strength as an international finance center, and we can issue blue bonds as well as green maritime financing to actively expedite shipping registration. We should also encourage digitalization, making good use of Internet of Things and AI to enhance port operational efficiency. The government must make plans as soon as possible and implement such plans. The international shipping center status of Hong Kong is an important opportunity brought about by the country's plans. We need to make good use of our foundations, but also innovate. In the city's 5-year plan, we should include shipping in the overall planning of marine economy development. We need to make sure there is cross-departmental coordination so that we can make use of our strengths and become a good, important gateway for the country to the rest of the world. Thank you. Mr. Sunny Tan. Hong Kong used to be the busiest cargo port in the world. In the past 10 years, however, we have seen a declining cargo throughput. We can't really compete in terms of costs with neighboring ports such as the ports in Shenzhen and Guangzhou. With rapid changes in the international trade environment and global uncertainties, we have a restructuring of the global supply chain. Hong Kong's shipping industry has its strengths to provide high-value added services to the maritime sector. When the government is promulgating its first 5-year plan, I would have some suggestions for positioning. We are ranked 4th in the world. We have less routes than Shenzhen, but each month we have similar number of vessels going to and from the city, because Hong Kong has 500 odd connected cities, whereas Shenzhen and Guangzhou only have 300 and 200 odd. Our routes, shipping routes, cover Belt and Road countries and other important markets. We can leverage on our advantages to provide flexible transshipment services for emerging and smaller economies. For trading, we should specifically develop trade-related routes. We should also expedite the development of green and smart port. We have in January this year the port community system launched by the TLB. We have quite a good onboard rate right now. We need to enhance further its coverage and prevalence. Green shipping transformation and upgrade is also important. We may be slower than Shenzhen in terms of green maritime fuel bunkering hardware, but because we are connected with the rest of the world, we have the conditions to become Greater Bay Area's green maritime fuel bunkering center. We need to expedite the construction of hardware and software green maritime fuel bunkering facilities. We need to have specific development timeline for Lung Ku Wan facilities. We also need to complete the studies into green ammonia and green hydrogen and make plans in advance to make sure we can tie in with the needs of international shipping companies to attract more vessels and capital to Hong Kong. We need to develop high value added maritime services. In order to be a modern shipping center, With the country's support, we are to develop into an international shipping center and deepen cooperation with different ports in Guangdong and Macau. We need to make good use of our strengths to provide high value added maritime services to different parts of the world. Our shipping companies' contracts would often have Singapore or London designated as the seat of arbitration. As Hong Kong is one of the available seats for arbitration, I suggest we can have shipping companies' contracts seat of arbitration designated as Hong Kong. The Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board should become more than an advisory body to help us align rules and standards with different locations, especially with the Greater Bay Area, so that we can have maritime services made available in the Greater Bay Area. We should actively dovetail with the National 15 5-year plan to serve the development of the country so as to develop further. I so submit. Captain Lothar Lam. I very much thank Mr. Andrew YAO for proposing the original motion. Before I was a representative of the constituency for transportation and aviation and shipping sector. Before I was a captain, I was a captain of an ocean-going vessel. I was in the sector for 20 years. I sailed through different international routes. I called at different ports well known to people. I have taken part in maritime arbitration proceedings as well. I can say Hong Kong has its advantages in the legal system, financial system, as well as free port and logistics management and operational efficiency. Many have expressed concerns about the declining cargo throughput of the Hong Kong port in recent years, but I think the reasons are not due to us losing our advantage. It's because we have adjustments in sources of cargoes. We also have new ports that have diverted the cargoes. With the 5-year plan of the maritime industry in Hong Kong, we need to make sure we actively dovetail with the National 15 5-year plan and take care of the pain points of having neighboring competition. We should have regional collaboration and make good use of technology to really leverage on our strengths. The positioning of the International Shipping Center is not mentioned alone in the National 15 5-year plan. It is mentioned together with International Financial and Trading Center, International Legal and Dispute Resolution Center, as well as the construction of a commodities trading ecosystem and green shipping ecosystem. They're interrelated. Finance plus shipping would be important. We have different parts in the maritime industry that would require financing, for example, leasing, insurance, derivatives trading, etc., that would require financial services. As we see more diverse financial sector, we have seen more derivatives related to the shipping industry. We have the trade actively promoting RWA, real asset financing of shipping assets, to make use of blockchain, and we have digital tokens issued for the real assets of the shipping industry. If we can launch innovative assets like these, it will increase the depth of the range of financial products. It will also serve the shipping sector. As I understand, we have other cities in the mainland that are actively striving for RWA trading platforms to set up operations in their cities. So Hong Kong must catch up. We have the country proposing Hong Kong to develop its commodities trading ecosystem as well as fuel bunkering and trading center. The trades of different products like these would involve not just financial and professional services, but also warehousing facilities. China is the largest hub in the world for commodities trading. If we can share part of the operations, not only will it boost the shipping and financial sectors of Hong Kong, it can help promote the internationalization of renminbi, and that would mean we are serving the country's development. We can see the maritime industry being developed as a high-end industry. The government plans to provide half-rate tax concessions for commodities trading this year and to enhance shipping registration arrangements and other arrangements. I hope the government will introduce into the council relevant legislative amendments as soon as possible, because that would give us an early mover advantage to dovetail with the National 15 5-year plan and serve the country's development. I so submit speaking in support of the motion amendment.
Mr. Michael Lee, President, the National 15 5-year plan gives clear support for Hong Kong to consolidate its position as an international aviation and shipping center. A maritime tradition goes 150 years back. BIMCO also has its operation in Hong Kong. As a leading shipping center in the world, our competitiveness is not just in terms of infrastructure, but also our soft power, including high-end professional services that covers maritime arbitration, ship management, and ship leasing. There are some 1,000 relevant professional services providers, ranging from financing to law. Now, I have been thinking about how we can further consolidate our competitiveness. One important direction is to promote the development of our maritime industry towards green fuel bunkering. There is a global trend of decarbonization for the maritime trade. It is also the country's strategy. Hong Kong is the second largest and the seventh largest bunkering center in the country and the world, respectively. And the government has introduced a bill to provide tax concession for green fuel bunkering to adapt to the trend. To cope with the climate change, the IMO has set a decarbonization goal by 2050, and also there is a decarbonization framework for vessels with statutory effect. Ship owners have to migrate to green fuel or else face punishment. This will enhance the demand for green fuel. Now, for OGVs using LPG, this is the major trend. However, this is not a zero-emission fuel. It is still deemed as a transition fuel. There are better fuels, including hydrogen and methane. Now, methane is an important alternative for vessels. Methanol fuel is safer and more cost-effective than other traditional fuel. Now, the global demand for fuel is 330 million tons. Now, the productivity capacity for methanol fuel is just 170 million tons. Now, 75% of methanol fuel will be produced by our country very soon. Now, it is 3 times more expensive than traditional fuel. However, with better technologies and higher supply, there's room for lowering the cost for methanol fuel. Now, we are situated at the major sea routes for OGVs. Now, 3 years ago, the government has established a cross-departmental working group on green fuel methanol bunkering to study the relevant infrastructure requirements and legislation for methanol bunkering. The goal is to develop Hong Kong into a green fuel bunkering center. Now, the first dual-fuel OGVs has been registered in Hong Kong. It has completed the first methanol bunkering in Hong Kong several months ago. That marks an important step for the development of the industry, and that's the beginning of the creation of the ecosystem. Now, there are many measures to implement the action plan on green maritime fuel bunkering. That includes enhancing the legislation to provide more anchorage sites for green fuel bunkering operations. And also there is the 3 years port use incentive scheme for green maritime fuel related vessels, and also green vessels registration incentive to attract more green fuel vessels to register and anchor in Hong Kong. And that's the CM Hong Kong I was talking about. Now we should enhance bunkering operations for methanol fuel as well as green ammonium. Let's make Hong Kong a more competitive and greener international shipping center and ensure our leading position in the green transformation. I so submit to support the motion. Mr. Yu Ming. Thank you, President. I speak in support of the motion and the amendments. As a world-recognized shipping center, in 2025, according to the Xinhua Baltic Shipping Center Development Index, Hong Kong has ranked the 4th globally for the 4th consecutive year. Singapore, London, and Shanghai, these other shipping centers also faced with challenges. In the year 2025, the Kuaishing terminal and other terminals put together has seen a decrease of 60% in terms of throughput to 13 million 20-foot equivalent units. That's a 13-year low and also the 8th consecutive year of drop. However, other ports in the Bay Area has been doing well. Now, for Shenzhen, the TEU has exceeded 35 million TEUs, an increase of 5% year-on-year, and that's a record high. For the Guangzhou port, it exceeded 25 million TEUs, ranking the 6th globally. Now, neighboring ports are rising quickly. Rather than competing with them, we should give play to our unique advantages. For example, in terms of cargo sources, transportation, the mainland ports have advantages. Our advantages, however, lies in international networking and our expeditious custom clearance. Now let's look at London and New York. London has started a round of upgrade and transformation before its advantages run out. With its professional services, it has upgraded its logistics streams into intellectual and professional service streams. It is still one of the strongest shipping centers in the world. Now for Hong Kong, we need to be a composite shipping center with a comprehensive industry chain rather than just relying on the volume of throughput. Now to transform our logistics stream, we need to speed up the development of the Northern Metropolis, especially the Hung Shui Kiu modern logistics node. Hung Shui Kiu and Hachun is the professional service and logistic hub. Now the government has completed the study and has set aside 36 hectares in land for high value-added logistics, e-commerce agents, and low-altitude economy. It is situated favorably in terms of its geography. In 25 minutes, it can reach the Shenzhen Bay as well as the airports and the terminal. Now, together with the developments of the Western Rail Link, will become an important node under the intermodal transshipment model in the Bay Area. It will also overcome the bottleneck of the scarcity of logistic land, lowering the cost for our industry and attract leading enterprises to come to Hong Kong. And also, we can form a cluster with the Qianhai and Shenzhen nodes to achieve the West-in, West-out layout. Now, by harnessing our international network, we can transform and upgrade our industry and create high-quality job opportunities, including ship registration and green bunkering. Now, we have the port community system and also the ESG toolbox. Now, for Shek Hong Wai Road in Hung Shui Kiu, we should invite the industry to submit letter of interest. The government should provide tax concession incentives for leading enterprises to speed up the development of infrastructure like Western Rail Link. We need to enhance the green smart mass transit system to ensure that the smart logistics system will be formed by 2028. We should also strengthen the arrangement for ship registration and tax concession to align with the country's rail, sea, land, river intermodal transportation system and establish a strong network with our partner ports. In terms of strengthening our international shipping center position, we have to speed up the development of the modern logistics node in Hongshui. We need to tap the country's strategic opportunity to practically upgrade our industry. Thank you. Mr. Lau Ka-keung. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Andrew YAO for the motion and Ms. Julia LAU for the amendment. The Hong Kong SAR government is now formulating the first 5-year plan for Hong Kong to align with the national 15th five-year plan. Now, International Shipping Center is one of Hong Kong's 10 centers positioning. It is an important step for Hong Kong's integration into the national development blueprints. I have 3 suggestions for the government to consider. 1. Deepening the collaboration with other ports in the Bay Area with complementary strengths. We are not competitors, but rather we are partners working towards the same goal. To enhance our competitiveness as an international shipping center, we must deepen the synergy with other ports, including Yantian Port in Shenzhen. The 2 governments have been enhancing the port cluster. Now, the combination of Kwai Ching Port and Yantian Port has realized seamless data exchange and cross-boundary transshipments. Now, in the 5-year plan, we need to deepen the collaboration with other ports. For example, the Nansha Port in Guangzhou, Gaolan Port in Zhuhai, to further elevate the status of the GBA port cluster. Second, focusing on green fuel bunkering and serve the country's decarbonization goals. The 15th five-year plan states that we need to use green fuel to replace traditional fuel. Now we can establish sustainable aviation fuel enterprises in the area. Compared with traditional fuel, SAF can reduce 80% of carbon emission in its life cycle. We should seize this opportunity brought about by green transformation. We should combine our R&D prowess with the manufacturing capability in Guangdong to turn SAF into an industry chain. Now, we already have the action plan on green maritime fuel bunkering and also the green vessels registration incentive. Now, on that basis, we should formulate a concrete timetable to establish Hong Kong into a green fuel bunkering center. Third, we need to strengthen our high value-added maritime professional services. Researchers point out that our maritime industry has been migrating towards a new ecosystem supported by port agents and other intermediary services. Now, given the rise of other ports in the Bay Area, we should focus on various segments of risk management for maritime trade and establish ourselves as a high value-added professional center. Now, we should take down the barriers of trade data for rail, sea, land, and river. We should enhance the efficiency of our logistics chain and also develop maritime insurance industry and decarbonization management. I so submit to support the motion and the amendment.
Mr. Chen Xiu-hong. Mr. Deputy, I support Mr. Andrew YAO's motion on comprehensively enhancing the competitiveness of Hong Kong as an international shipping center. I also support Ms. Julia LAU's amendment. Back in the 1980s, that was the reform and opening up. We enjoyed a great our great location, so many goods went through Hong Kong. Our throughput went up and up. We were among the leading ports. That throughput declined in recent years, but our country has expressly supported Hong Kong's push to consolidate and enhance our status as an international shipping center. Under the 14th Five-Year Plan, the shipping center was one of the 8 centers. And then under the 15th Five-Year Plan, the shipping center is also mentioned. Based on the 2025 Xinhua Baltic Shipping Development Index, Hong Kong came 4th globally. That shows our fast customs clearance, great efficiency, and free status as a free port are widely recognized across the world. So as we prepare our own 5-year plan, we should look beyond just the level of port throughput. Instead, we should tap into the potential of different services at a port as we continue to enhance our position as a shipping center. London has been among the top 3 ports around the world. In the beginning of the last century, it used to see a high level of throughput, but its role was undermined as other ports caught up. But London developed its financial and other professional services, so eventually it became a port offering high-end services. Hong Kong today is similar to what London was like back then. Now there is competition from other GBA ports. Those ports are highly automated, whereas in Hong Kong's terminals, we're still operating at a manual level. In the future, we should look beyond just throughput. We should focus on developing high value-added maritime services such as ship financing, maritime legal services, ship registration, ship management, ship leasing, and also green fuel bunkering. Let's make the most of our well-developed legal services in our financial market. Let's complement other GBA ports and work with them. I want to focus on green shipping. The International Maritime Organization set a goal for 2050. We have to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. The war in the Middle East also prompted the industry to consider energy security. When the industry orders new vessels, they prefer net zero vessels, and that means the demand for green fuels will keep going up. Hong Kong has a late start in green fuel bunkering, but we have been working on this in recent years. We've been trying to turn Hong Kong into a green fuel bunkering center. In 2025, there were 110 bunkering for biodiesel and 16 for other green fuels. In March this year, at an anchorage and also at a terminal, we managed a green fuel bunkering as well. China is the biggest producer of green maritime fuel. We have our country's support. We're in a good position to develop green fuel bunkering and trading. Last year, the government established a port partnership with Dalian. We also worked with a green fuel producer in Zhanjiang. We started discussions about cooperation. I look forward to more mainland green fuel producers going global via Hong Kong so that Hong Kong can become a green fuel bunkering and trading center. This is in line with the 15th Five-Year Plan in turning Hong Kong into a commodity trading center. Arbitration is an effective way of dealing with complex maritime disputes. In 2020, Hong Kong was designated as one of the 4 arbitration seats by BIMCO, or the Baltic and International Maritime Council. The Department of Justice is reviewing our arbitration laws. I hope the DOJ can move faster with the review so that we can maintain and enhance Hong Kong's status. Your time is up, Mr. Chen Pui-Leung. Thank you, Mr. Deputy. I have to declare an interest. The organization I work for offers marine insurance. I thank Mr. Andrew YAO for moving his motion. Hong Kong's shipping industry has a long history. It's is a reputable industry. But in recent years, we have faced fierce competition in hardware and software from Singapore, London, and mainland ports. We're working on our own 5-year plan. We should seize this opportunity by laying down medium to long-term plans for enhancing the competitiveness of our port. We should focus on developing high-value-adding professional services for maritime services. In this context, marine insurance is a key part. Mr. Andrew YAO argued that for high value-added insurance, especially reinsurance, we have the capability to create our own underwriting network. We don't have to rely on overseas underwriters. We have a well-developed ecosystem, a good business environment, and a simple and low-tech system. We are the second largest claim center. 11 of the 12 international shipping P&I clubs are in Hong Kong. We have a solid basis in developing maritime insurance. But many reinsurers and insurers moved their regional headquarters to Singapore. There were just a handful of insurers with their regional headquarters in Hong Kong. We still have just a few major centers or headquarters of such insurers. China has the world's biggest merchant shipping fleet. We have our country's support. We have this unique advantage to further develop maritime insurance. The policy address last year adopted my suggestion by coming up with a dedicated shipping insurance pool. The conflict in the Middle East is worsening. Shipping premiums have shot up tenfold. This dedicated risk pool can facilitate risk assessment and contains the rise in premium, and that keeps the premium competitive. We still have huge potential and room for drawing more insurers here to set up a common pool for maritime insurance. We can come up with new maritime insurance products. We can manage the products, and that will put it in a stronger position to serve as underwriters. We need more competitive tax breaks to attract sizable insurance. They should put their regional headquarters and underwriting centers in Hong Kong. We also need concessions to get these companies to underwrite policies in Hong Kong so that we get a larger insurance sector in Hong Kong for maritime insurance. We should get more mainland reinsurers to support maritime services in Hong Kong so that Hong Kong can become a major maritime insurance center in the world, along with other global peers. We need talent for the industry, but we're short of talent for the maritime insurance sector. That's holding the industry back. I have been calling for a talent pool for maritime insurance. There's a dedicated training program for this sector. I welcome that. We need more programs, professional training programs and university programs on maritime insurance so that we can foster talent. And then maritime insurance professionals will also have more training options, and we can get more young people to join the trade. On attracting talent, we should offer more visa facilitation measures as well as support measures for the children of such professionals so that we get more overseas maritime insurance professionals to come here. I support the motion and the amendment. Mr. Jonathan Leung. The outline of the 15th five-year plan expressly supports Hong Kong's development in the 8 centers. One of these centers is consolidating and enhancing Hong Kong's role as an international shipping center. The motion today is in line with the 15th five-year plan. This will also help Hong Kong with its own 5-year plan. 90% of our food ingredients are imported from the mainland or overseas. Ensuring the reliability of such ingredients is crucial to our F&B business. And we need to get more ocean-going vessels to anchor here. We need high value-added maritime services. If we can achieve that, the F&B sector will also benefit. there's a challenge for our ports. Duplication of shipping routes leads to excessive competition. So we should look for synergy with other GBA ports. We should each focus on different niches. We have well-developed professional services. We should focus on transshipment in Hong Kong. Shenzhen and Guangzhou, on the other hand, can focus on cargoes from the hinterland and supporting the manufacturing sector. Creating synergy can avoid duplication and excessive competition. It can also help create economies of scale, and this can turn the GBA ports into a world-class cluster. All this can also ensure a more reliable supply of food ingredients for the F&B sector. We need fresh ingredients for high-end catering establishments. We support greater use of technology to facilitate customs clearance so that quality ingredients can arrive in Hong Kong faster. The Liberal Party has always supported the government in implementing the port community system and the trade single window. All these systems can lower logistics costs. They will also bring down the transportation costs of food ingredients. F&B businesses will be able to purchase the ingredients at more affordable prices, and then the food prices on the consumer's end will also be more reasonable, so people will have access to high quality food, and that will enhance Hong Kong's status as a food paradise. To cope with climate change, going green is the wave of the future for the shipping industry. That's why the Liberal Party has been calling for green fuel bunkering. We have our country's support. Our country is a major producer of green fuel. We have a great location. Ocean-going vessels have to go through us. We have all the conditions. We should become a green fuel bunkering center. If we achieve that, we will be able to bring in more ocean-going vessels and cruises. That will also bring us more cargoes and tourists. That will foster the development of our logistics development and tourism sector. We can provide supplies and also food for ships, and that will further boost the F&B sector. We have been pushing the high value-added maritime services on ship management, ship lease, and ship finance. We have been offering concessions to bring overseas maritime service enterprises here. Those enterprises bring with them investments and also a large body of professionals. These are high-spending professionals. They can drive the business of high-end dining. The Liberal Party supports the government in enhancing tax concessions. We should drive high value-added maritime services. And let's turn Hong Kong into a maritime arbitration center. Let's bring in more high-end professionals so that we can drive the upgrading of the high-end dining sector. Consolidating Hong Kong's status as a shipping center will benefit many sectors, including the F&B sector, and that will also mean reliable supply of food ingredients that will drive down costs and also expand the market and give us fresh momentum for development. As sole support, I submit the motion and the amendment.
Mr. Chen Pak-chi, Deputy President, the SAR government is preparing its first 5-year plan for the city. I think it is now the right timing to discuss the future of the shipping sector. The status of Hong Kong being an international shipping center is achieved through efforts of the people of Hong Kong through many years. We have faced challenges in cargo throughput of the port in recent years, but what matters is not just cargo throughput, it is about creating a high value added supply chain. We are the 4th largest shipping registration destination. We also have our advantages that we should rely on. We can dovetail with the National 15 5-year plan and take the shipping industry of Hong Kong to new heights and move towards becoming a smart port. We need to amend the arbitration ordinance to create favorable conditions for arbitration. If the parties cannot reach an agreement on a number of arbitrators, we can have the arbitration panel formed by an arbitrator automatically, and we can grant more powers to the panel to make a decision. We should promote information sharing in terms of maritime management in the Greater Bay Area. We should deepen cooperation in the Greater Bay Area and set up a bilingual database for precedents for reference of mainland enterprises. The Secretary for Justice said the government would comprehensively review the arbitration ordinance. This is how we can align with the National 15 5-year plan and deepen Hong Kong's positioning as an international legal and dispute resolution center. In terms of the use of green maritime fuel and digital transformation, we have neighboring ports investing heavily in green maritime fuel bunkering facilities. To compete with them, we need to have a clear timetable. We have a geographical advantage. We're right next to the fairway in the southern tip of the country. We are ranked 7th in terms of bunkering venues. As long as we tap into that opportunity, it would work for us. I'm happy to hear that the administration has already set up a communication platform. The first meeting has the participation of 60-odd representatives. This is how we can facilitate business matching. We need to do even more. We need to have a carbon footprint certification center in Hong Kong. We can develop it as a high value added industry. We should make good use of the port community system to reduce financing costs for small and medium-sized enterprises. In terms of infrastructure, the administration has already collected expressions of interest for the Qingyi South site. The planning procedures are underway. It is expected that by 2028, it would be available on the market. I hope that the government can shorten the time needed and expedite the works. We have good foundations. What we need to do now is to make good use of our advantages under one country, two systems, and actively integrate ourselves into the Greater Bay Area. We can make good use of the fuel production capabilities in the Greater Bay Area. We have seen good cooperation in green maritime fuel bunkering in March, and with that, we have the potential to be an important green maritime fuel production chain. We need to move faster than the times. We need to move beyond port competition and collaborate as an ecosystem. This will create a brighter future for the shipping industry of Hong Kong. I so submit. Professor William Wong. Thank you, Deputy President. Hong Kong has geographical advantage. It is also a free port. It has a mature financial and legal system. It has a good transportation network. It has long been an important shipping hub. The National 15 5-year plan emphasizes Hong Kong is to be developed as an international shipping center. However, when faced with fierce competition posed by ports in the region, to maintain leadership, we need to be innovative and we need to upgrade and transform. I have some suggestions. We need to consolidate our advantages and provide high value added services. The financial secretary recently said the city's exports are doing well. A lot of the products exported are AI and communication equipment. It really shows our achievements in promoting the AI and technological outcomes. We should continue to enhance transformation of R&D outcomes so that we can have a high-end tech supply chain. The government is also actively promoting development of emerging industries such as biotech that will bring about diversified logistics demand. We should leverage on our advantages in cold chain logistics as well as coverage of international aviation destinations to really be a inter-country supply management center. We have recently seen the launch of the third phase of Trade Single Window. We can see that promoting the digitalization of trade locally. With logistics, it's not just about transportation, it is also about efficiency and integration of information and capital. We should align and connect with different trade data platforms in the mainland and the rest of the world so that we can have smart programming and one-stop clearance as well as data-based trade financing. This will help consolidate our status as an international shipping center. We should also promote the use of AI in applications of logistics. We can have such technology used in AI in logistics monitoring, demand prediction. These are areas AI is good at. We can also make good use of embodied AI and drones and provide high value added job opportunities to attract youngsters to join the industry. The government should help the industry to develop different AI applications to promote the development of the industry in both quality and efficiency. We should also deepen regional collaboration with ports and flight destinations, especially in the Greater Bay Area, to have greater regional synergy. Hong to be developed into a modern logistics circle, and it is in close proximity with the Shenzhen Bay Port. We will also have an industry park in Hong Q. We can test out different logistics solutions to test our collaboration capabilities to create new impetus for growth for the logistics and shipping industry. We have the int'l scheme as well as the Hong Kong International Airport Dongguan Logistics Park facility that has facilitated reduction in clearance time. We should work with the mainland to have more points practicing clearance arrangements like such to enhance logistics between the two sides. I so submit speaking in support of the motion amendments. Professor Michael I. Thank you, Deputy President. As an international shipping center with a long history, we have world-class port facilities and a free trading environment. We also have a mature legal system. We play an important role in the global trade network. Faced with fierce competition from different parts of the world and the need to transform the industry, we have great opportunities we can tap into. I thank Mr. Andrew YAO for proposing a motion allowing us to discuss the future direction of development of the industry and how we can rise up to the challenges. We need to dovetail with the National 15 5-year plan. It says we should consolidate and enhance our status as an international shipping center. I believe regional collaboration and transformation are very important in consolidating Hong Kong's status as an international shipping center. We are to develop as a green maritime fuel bunkering center. We are seeing different parts of the world making use of methanol and LNG, and Singapore is indeed a fierce competitor. We have our strengths, however. We have the backing of the country. The country is an important supplier of green fuel. We should actively make use of the production base in the mainland and develop Hong Kong as a methanol bunkering center. We should have simultaneous operations, bunkering, and make good use of a synergy of green energy supply chain to develop Hong Kong as a primary transshipment hub. In terms of smart shipping, AI is very important in enhancing efficiency and providing value-added services. We should construct a global maritime data platform. We should consolidate various data, weather prediction, route changes. We can have these smart upgrades extended to other areas such as financing and perhaps allow for dynamic adjustments of insurance premiums. AI can also be used in arbitration and the legal services area in general to promote dispute resolution. We can provide customized solutions for shipping enterprises. This will help internationalize professional services in Hong Kong. In terms of regional cooperation, we need to have in-depth cooperation with the Pearl River Delta ports. We have seen great congestion in the Yantian port. Hong Kong port is very efficient and we can be a buffer in regional logistics and diversion. We can focus on international transshipment cargoes as well as green fuel bunkering and high-end maritime services. Mainland ports can serve bulk import and export trade cargoes. Hong Kong can then have better coverage and the whole Greater Bay Area port cluster will be more competitive. In terms of talents and policies, for green fuel, AI, international arbitration talents, we have a manpower gap at the moment. The government should work with different academic institutions and the industry to set up an institute focusing on shipping to nurture cross-disciplinary talents. We can also have policy incentives for different international organizations and overseas institutions to set up training platforms to nurture talents in the city. We can also make good use of our status as an international financial center, and through mergers and acquisitions and strategic cooperation, we can introduce different techniques and we can make good use of the professional services platform of Hong Kong to export the different techniques and financial and legal services to the rest of the world so that we can have a good cycle and we will be irreplaceable in the chain. Thank you.
Mr. Lam Wai Kong. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Andrew YAO for moving the motion on comprehensively enhancing the competitiveness of Hong Kong as an international shipping center. The National 15th Five-Year Plan clearly states that Hong Kong's position has been upgraded from 8 centers to 10 centers, 2 hubs, 2 ecosystems, and 1 highland. To bolster Hong Kong's position as an international shipping center, we need to have a comprehensive logistic, technology, talent, and industry chain. As a representative of the labor sector, we think labor training is important to help upgrade our industry. The Strait of Hormuz crisis has sounded an alarm. When there is a war, some insurers have cancelled the insurance coverage for vessels plying through the Strait of Hormuz. On the other hand, the country boasts the largest fleet in the world. However, it only accounts for 6 to 7% in terms of the global financial market. This is something that we can do. One breakthrough point lies in Hong Kong insurers providing insurance coverage for the nation's vessels. Now, the geopolitical risk faced by Chinese vessels are higher than other countries' vessels. Now, as an executive director of the insurance authority, I am mindful of the risk. Now, last November, a risk pool for maritime transport has been established. That marks Hong Kong's more important role in insuring vessels. Now we can attract more talents and businesses to provide captive insurance services so that we can set the premium for the country's ships. At the same time, we should develop Hong Kong's prowess in maritime arbitration and also nurture maritime financial talents. Now, we are one of the world's international shipping centers. This achievement has been achieved by all frontline workers, including cargo, truck drivers, terminal workers, ship captains, and so on. Now, when we are transforming and upgrading our maritime industry, we should not neglect the contributions made by frontline workers. Now, to maintain our international shipping center status, frontline workers and businesses have to transform themselves. At the same time, ship management, ship financing, new fuel energy, as well as development of maritime laws are also important directions. Now, if we look at the maritime-related curriculums in the 5 years, besides the traditional courses in relation to vessel operation, there are insufficient courses in relation to high value-added professional services, for example, ship insurance and ship leasing. Now, we can't just rely on several law firms and insurers to provide support for our status as an international shipping center. Now, we should make reference to the success of the Maritime and Aviation Training Fund to provide more courses in relation to high-end professional maritime services to create a career path for young people. At the same time, we should help existing in-service stakeholders to pursue training. And also, we need to have a talent accreditation system. I urge the governments to actively consider providing accreditation services for professional talents in green, maritime field, maritime insurance, and so on. There should be a dedicated registration system which aligns with the country and the world's standard. I so submit. Thank you. Dr. Thomas So. Thank you, Deputy President. I speak in support of the original motion and also the amendment. When it comes to comprehensively enhancing our international shipping center competitiveness, now, our first impression concerning legal service in this regard is dispute resolution. For example, whether Hong Kong is chosen as the seat of arbitration, do we have arbitrators, and also how to enforce the judgment or decision. Now, this is important. However, the scope should cover the entire need of the full life cycle of maritime business, from ship purchase, leasing, insurance, and so on. Legal service is crucial. Now, from the perspective of talent, some Hong Kong lawyers have studied in the UK, and London is an international shipping center, so these lawyers have received training in the maritime field. After coming back to Hong Kong, they find it hard to land a job in the field because there is limited opportunities here. It shows that even though we have the talents, if there are no job openings, these talents will change tracks. So we need to ensure that these talents are not wasted. Now, in the full life cycle, dispute resolution is the cornerstone. It involves how much businesses trust Hong Kong. It is also a core index gauging our competitiveness. Now, I will focus on dispute resolution because of the limits of time. Now, I've heard stakeholders saying that some foreign businesses have worries about choosing Hong Kong as a seat of arbitration because of our closeness to the country. Now, I think the government should do the following. First, the government should take the lead in choosing Hong Kong as the seat of arbitration. Now, besides striving for the destination of Hong Kong as a seat of arbitration in more standardized contracts, we should also promote the use of standardized contracts using Hong Kong as a seat of arbitration in government's procurement contracts to send a message to the markets that the government is choosing Hong Kong as a seat of arbitration. Second, we should promote Hong Kong proactively to the world with our unique advantages as an arbitration seat. Now we can apply for withholding measures for assets. This is something unique to us. And also the application of Hong Kong laws for Hong Kong-based enterprises have breached the restrictions of some traditional chokeholds. And nowadays, disputes usually involve international business. Now, there has been a recent case, which has been mentioned by my fellow colleagues. It testifies to Hong Kong as an international arbitration center. So concerning foreign businesses doing business in the country, there are a lot of advantages if they choose Hong Kong as a seat of arbitration, and we need to be loud about it. Now, third, we need to attract more talents. Besides nurturing more legal talents with maritime arbitration experience, as I've mentioned, we need to urge the trade to provide sufficient job opportunities to these talents so that there is an efficient matching between talents and jobs. Mr. Hon YAO. Thank you, Deputy President. I thank Mr. Andrew YAO for moving this motion on comprehensively enhancing Hong Kong's competitiveness as an international shipping center. Now, this is a very meaningful debate. Many members have mentioned about the throughput of terminals. That is only one measurement of the competitiveness of a shipping center. The fact that there are ships in a port doesn't mean that it is a shipping center. In Hong Kong, we have a lot of high value-added services, including ship leasing, financing, and maritime and marine insurance, as well as maritime arbitration. These services are available in Hong Kong. And also, Hong Kong's global ranking in terms of ship tonnage registered in Hong Kong is the 4th. It has been so for a very long time. Many ships flying Hong Kong flags would require the support of the Maritime Department as well as Hong Kong Professional Services if they encounter any incidents in foreign ports. It would reduce the detention time in those ports because time is a cost to the ship owners. It shows that we have been able to provide high value-added professional services to ship owners. So what more can we do? Now, as some other members have mentioned, marine insurance is something that we should definitely expand. Although we still rank the 4th in terms of the number of ships flying our flags. Many ship owners have procured insurance policies in London instead of Hong Kong. So these ships are using our services and flying our flags. Why aren't they procuring insurance policies in Hong Kong? Now, there are 13 members of the P&I Club in Hong Kong engaging in marine insurance. I think there is much opportunity here. In particular, because of the war in the Middle East, there are some disruptions to maritime insurance services. Now, Hong Kong, with the backing of the country, can make use of this opportunity to reclaim the market. I think this is a very good opening for us. Second, I thank the HKSAR government for accepting our suggestion to establish a warehouse of green field near Long Gu Tan in Tuen Mun West. Now, I think Tuen Mun West has the potential to become a green maritime field bunkering hub in the future. Green methanol fuel is a trend being led by our country. So besides warehouse, we also need R&D facilities, bunkering facilities, and so on. We need to provide bunkering services to OGVs passing by Hong Kong, accreditation and testing as well. We need to test whether the vessels have met the green standard during its voyage. That's also something that our professional services can achieve. So testing and accreditation is also lucrative. Now, if the entire industry chain is located in Tuen Mun, we can have a lot of job opportunities. That's our opportunity. And also it will bring businesses to the relevant professional services, including ship leasing and ship financing. Because of the use of greenfield bunkering services in Hong Kong, there will be much opportunities. So those are my 2 cents. I hope the government would follow up on my suggestions to forge Hong Kong into an international green maritime center. I so submit.
Dr. Webster. Mr. Deputy, I support Mr. Andrew Yao's motion and the amendment. Hong Kong as an international shipping center is in a pivotal moment. Last year, our port throughput was at 12.9 million TEUs, down 5% or so. That's a 3-year low. We came 7th globally. Based on the 2025 Xinhua Baltic Development Index, Hong Kong came 4th globally for the 6th consecutive year. We were just behind Singapore, London, and Shanghai. This discrepancy shows the competition is now over professional services, rule setting, instead of throughput. London has long ceased to be among the top ports in throughput, but they have ship lease, maritime insurance, and other professional services. They have a full spectrum of high-end professional services. And that's a source of inspiration for us as we draft our own 5-year plan. We should become a leader in port services. So we will have to focus on professional services instead of the volume, the throughput. I'm from the accounting sector, so I want to focus on the financial side of things. We have the 2050 goal, and that is an opportunity. We should turn Hong Kong into a hub for ESG disclosures. Now, the EU has this CBAM. The EU has turned their disclosures from a voluntary arrangement to a mandatory requirement. And I think I know that we also have something along those lines for green fuel bunkering. To become a green shipping center, we will need both the hardware and software. Hong Kong is among the first jurisdictions to adopt the ISSB disclosure requirements. We have what it takes to become a hub for carbon audit and also disclosures, and as well as testing and certification for green purposes. So we should work with the industry on ESG disclosure requirements and also third-party certification requirements. And that can draw this trillion-dollar demand from the sector when it comes to green audit and green disclosure. And we should also make this a priority for our advisory group on tax policy. For qualifying ship leasers, we have tax concessions. It's a key advantage. Now 64 such leasers are on the list. It used to be just 11. Singapore offers their own MSI, their own initiative. Their tax break can go further. Under BEPS 2.0, this advantage of offering a lower tax rate will be eroded. For us, we will have to come up with a new tax mix. We have to offer an ecosystem-wide concession instead of just offering a lower rate. So when it comes to ship leasing, ship management, and ship finance, we should offer an across-the-board tax concession. And we should also consider launching tax offset for green shipping. And we should also make the industry cluster part of our own 5-year plan. We should set our own key performance indicators for the shipping industry. We should look at the amount raised in maritime IPOs each year, the number of maritime disputes, and also green development. We should also coordinate the transfer when it comes to port businesses so that we can turn these developments into upgrading in the value involving ports. The 15th 5-year plan stresses the upgrading of ports. That means we should look at not just the throughput, we should look at the setting of rules and green standards, which represent soft power. So we should take our first 5-year plan as a strategic opportunity so that we shift from volume to leadership in shipping. Professor William Wong. I support Mr. Andrew Yao's motion and Ms. Julia Lau's amendment. The outline of the 15th 5-year plan expressly supports Hong Kong's effort to consolidate and enhance Hong Kong's status as an international shipping center. We have to become the 4 centers and 1 hub. One focus is developing this international shipping center. Victoria Harbour is breathtaking. As other members said, for 11 years, we were the top container port. Our throughput has declined in recent years without many places. We remained in the 4th place behind Singapore, London, and Shanghai based on the Xinhua Baltic Shipping Development Index. That should set our alarm bells ringing. We should strive to remain in the top 3. We should not be happy with the 4th place. Our greatest strength lies in our soft power. We can compete with London on being a green hub, smart hub, and a cluster of high-end professional services, and also an international maritime dispute resolution services. On these fronts, we have what it takes to become a world leader. But young people are not keen to join this industry. I teach at CityU. I have told the chief executive many years. Back in 2011, 2012, we launched courses on maritime law, but then the professors left, and then we couldn't find enough students. But recently, the University of Hong Kong worked with the Dalian Maritime University. They launched a master's program in common law for top-notch maritime talent from the mainland. Hong Kong Polytechnic University has been offering a master's program in maritime management for years. They also offered a scholarship. It's $120,000. In terms of soft power, do we have enough professional workers in areas like finance, accounting, and legal services? And because we cannot get such professionals soon enough, Hong Kong U has just got started with the program. It takes time for us to train our talent. It will take 4 or 8 years before we have our professionals. We have to be more competitive because there's a global scramble for such talent. We should engage mainland experts, scholars, and professors in maritime. They already have accountants and legal professionals in maritime law. We should send someone to the mainland for internships, and we should get those professionals to come here. They can come here to learn about the common law system. They can learn about our financial system, and then they can seize these opportunities. Can our own people seize those opportunities? I am confident. The International Organization for Mediation managed to resolve a maritime dispute involving China and Singapore. That should give us confidence. The government has been calling for a mediation clause in international contracts. When it comes to dispute resolution, there is arbitration, mediation, and also mitigation. We should encourage the inclusion of a mediation clause in contract. And we should promote Hong Kong as a dispute resolution center to oversee maritime experts, so that these experts can tell their own maritime industry about this, and they come to Hong Kong for maritime dispute resolution. Your time is up. Mr. Jimmy Ng. We're discussing how to enhance Hong Kong's competitiveness as a shipping center. I want to dig into history. Back in the Ming Dynasty, we produced local incense. The incense trees would be taken to Shek Pai Wan, and then they would be loaded onto ships. So we have been relying on shipping for centuries. In 2021, we got the 8 centers for our positioning. One of them was the shipping center. And then in 2023, the government launched the action plan on port and maritime development. That plan proposes raising our competitiveness. So we're getting our course right. And then we got the outline of the 15th five-year plan recently. That plan proposes consolidating and enhancing our status as a shipping center. That outline also stresses cooperation with the rest of the GBA. We cannot do the work all by ourselves. We have to work together with the GBA. We're now shifting from a focus just on throughput to maritime services in general. We are preparing our own 5-year plan. We should focus on 3 trends: first, going smart, going green, and also an integrative approach. We should strengthen our international competitiveness and contribute to our country's development. First, going smart. We should go smart by adopting smart initiatives for our port. Different industries need to restructure their industry change. The same goes for the shipping industry. We have to break down the data silos for high-end services and ports so that goods, information, and capital can flow freely for the logistics sector. Ports around the world are going smart. The government should become more ambitious. We should come up with more custom declaration partnerships with different partners. And we should also go green. First, we need to turn Hong Kong into a greenfield bunkering center. Let's get the infrastructure right. And then we should also develop green shipping finance. We need innovation in green shipping so that we should also pursue decarbonization technologies. We should also take a collaborative approach with the other ports in the GBA. When we say shipping, we should pursue intermodal transshipment involving air and land transport. We should make the most of the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge so that our transport network can be expanded to other mainland provinces. We should also go high-end for our maritime services. Let's keep updating our infrastructure. The same goes for our software so that we give full play to our strength. We should expand our reach. We should go beyond just port logistics to more services. On this point, I have two suggestions. First, we should focus on high-end maritime services. Let's make the most of our legal and financial services. Let's focus on maritime arbitration. I suggest setting up a one-stop platform involving insurance, financial services, so that we can focus on risk management and legal services. Second, we should offer better tax breaks. We should amend our laws. We should enhance the existing concessions to bring more multinationals and leading maritime enterprises to set up their Asia-Pacific headquarters in Hong Kong. We should implement these initiatives in the short, medium, and long term. For the short term, we need more tax breaks, especially for commodity traders. In the medium term, we should focus on green shipping. We should turn Hong Kong into a regional greenfield bunkering center, and so that high-end maritime services can take up more than 10%. In the long term, we should deepen collaboration in the Greater Bay Area so that Hong Kong becomes a maritime arbitration center. We should promote intermodal transshipment so that we work seamlessly with the mainland. As sole submit, I support the motion and the amendment.
Mr. Alan Chen. Thank you, President. For the four pillars of the city in 2024, trade takes up 18.9% of the GDP. We have in employing 555,000 of the population. So that is about 15% of the population. Now, the 550 are workers. Most of them are non-skilled workers. Being an international shipping center brings about many employment opportunities for the city. I therefore support Mr. Andrew YAO's original motion. I suggest we should enhance Hong Kong's status as an international shipping center in 4 areas. In 2005, the cargo throughput in Hong Kong is 22.6 million TEUs. We are ahead of Singapore, but 20 years later in 2025, we only have 12.9 million TEUs. And in the period, we have seen Singapore seen 93% growth. That is a significant difference. We have lost 70% of the cargoes to Shenzhen and Guangzhou, 20% of high value-added cargoes to Penang and other cities. In 2005, Shenzhen and Guangzhou's cargo throughput is 35 million and 28 million TEUs in 2025. So that is they're way ahead of Hong Kong. I suggest we provide professional and high value-added services. We should promote synergy of the among the ports in the Greater Bay Area. We should have a regular cooperation mechanism. We should focus on transshipment, international high value-added cargo, while Shenzhen and Guangzhou can focus on domestic cargoes. We should practice complementary development. We should introduce technologies to streamline the workflow. Right now, Hong Kong Port still relies heavily on manual operations. We're lagging behind in automation. The industry is not willing to undergo transformation because there are not enough policy incentives. Now, in Shenzhen, Shanghai, and Qingdao, they are all automated ports. In fact, Singapore has also allocated resources to promote automation. Shenzhen has seen full automation of the port. Their efficiency is at least 20% faster than that of Hong Kong. We have different operators of terminals, so we have a fragmented approach. We have an advantage. The government can take the initiative and include automation and digitalization clauses in land grants or rental agreements. And we should have a coordination mechanism to make sure operators are on the same page. We should have a smart port digital platform to have digital clearance and automation of port operations, and have big data analyses of relevant data. That's how we can reduce costs and enhance efficiency. We need to promote also the use of green maritime fuels. We do not have enough green maritime fuel facilities. In Shenzhen in 2025, the LNG use is over 510 cubic meters. It is 90% higher than that in Hong Kong. We need to develop high value added maritime services. We overly rely on low value added services. We have a lot of maritime arbitration organizations and maritime insurance bodies, but we provide limited services in other areas. We need to develop further maritime legal and arbitration services, and to make sure we provide ship leasing and other services so as to enhance the revenue structure and have some response to the lowering cargo throughput. We have some deep-rooted issues in Hong Kong. We need to make good use of collaboration within the Greater Bay Area Port Cluster automation, going green, as well as high-end services. Your time is up, Mr. Eric Yim. President, Hong Kong being a shipping center is one of the three important pillar industries of Hong Kong. The National 15 Five-Year Plan supports Hong Kong in consolidating and enhancing its status as an international shipping center. We are currently drafting the city's 5-year plan. We are to dovetail with the National 15 Five-Year Plan. Mr. Andrew Yao's motion comes at the right time. We ranked first in cargo throughput many years ago, but in recent years we continue to see a decline in cargo throughput. In 2001, we had 70% of cargoes in the Greater Bay Area. We have a much lower percentage now. We have seen rapid growth in Guangzhou and Shenzhen ports. There is fierce competition that is causing issues. If we don't do anything, our status as an international shipping center will be affected. Our positioning as a trading and financing center will also be affected. We need to make good use of our resources of having shipping enterprises in Hong Kong. We have over 1,100 shipping-related enterprises. We have different enterprises, China Merchant Wharf, for example, that are top-notch port operators in the world. If we establish an alliance and promote resource sharing, it will enhance our efficiency and bargaining power. We should leverage on our strengths as a free port to provide support for different shipping enterprises in other parts of the world. We have a common law system as well as a simple and low tax system. They alone are quite attractive to shipping enterprises. We should also provide high-end resources in professional services to promote Hong Kong's transformation as an international maritime resource center. This will help consolidate our 8 centuries positioning and better serve the development of the country and Greater Bay Area. We have the action plan on maritime and port development providing plans for resource consolidation. And we already had previous examples of alliances to follow. I think what we can do is promote cooperation between Guangdong and Hong Kong. We should have complementary development. We should not have evolution. We should ask for some of the regional government's subsidy arrangements to be suspended. This is in line with what Mr. Andrew YAO said. We should have mutual recognition of qualifications of lorry drivers so as to lower cross-boundary logistic costs. We should promote the use of green maritime fuel and promote cooperation with facilities in the mainland. I have called for the expedition of construction of such facilities and services early on previous occasions. We also need to make Hong Kong into a high-end services center. We need to strive for those enterprises who have moved out of Hong Kong due to the Section 301 investigation imposed by the U.S. last year to come back to Hong Kong. The SAR government is consulting different sectors with their preparation of the city's 5-year plan. We need to have forward-looking measures in the 5-year plan for the shipping industry to really consolidate Hong Kong's status as an international shipping center. I so submit speaking in support of the motion and amendments. Members, after the end of this motion, I will suspend the meeting at about 6:50. Dr. Simon Lee. I speak in support of the motion. Our strengths as an international shipping center no longer come from cargo throughput. Instead, we rely on our soft powers now, especially in legal services. This is how we can be competitive. What Ms. Julia LAU proposed in her amendments about enhancing Hong Kong's status as an international maritime arbitration center, I think there are several areas we can do more on. First, we need to enhance our center as a maritime arbitration and mediation center. Right now, London is a pioneer. We should make good use of our advantages under one country, two systems to have other locations select Hong Kong as the seat for arbitration. We can relax the diversified arbitration cost model to have diversified cost options. We should also work with BIMCO to set up case management offices in Hong Kong. Second, we need to have good financing and insurance ancillary services. We need to make sure we respond to the needs in green shipping and smart shipping and have new products. We should also have maritime insurance terms that align with international standards. On the basis of ship tax concession related laws, we should try as much as possible to lower the risks of that who is putting up collateral. Many disputes are delayed in processing because of the application terms or evidence errors. We should make sure there are exchanges between mainland and Hong Kong lawyers. We should also have pilot arrangements where we have mutual recognition of qualifications so that lawyers can deal with common law disputes and still be familiar with mainland laws related to shipping disputes. We should promote alignment of legal rules within the Greater Bay Area. We should see if we can have a streamlined list for enforcement of judgments for international maritime cases. The competition for being an international shipping center has moved towards soft power, and we can make good use of innovative legal tools, focus on maritime arbitration, nurture talents, and align the rules within the Greater Bay Area to make Hong Kong into an irreplaceable hub in the shipping sector. I so submit speaking in support of the motion.
Mr. Tommy Chung. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Andrew YAO's motion on comprehensively enhancing the competitiveness of Hong Kong as an international shipping center. As a representative of the import and export trade, I think we share the same destiny as the maritime sector. We need to prosper together. It's not enough to just look at the volume of throughput. We need to recognize the strategic role played by the maritime sector. There is a global restructuring of supply chain. That's the fact. We need to take a macro view to make planning for our future as a shipping center. We need to boost our logistic volume while enhancing our value as an international shipping center. First of all, we need to make Hong Kong a converging point of capital and businesses. Now, metal and other large commodity trade accounts for more than half of the trade. If we are just a transshipment center, then there is limited value. However, if transaction takes place here, we can keep ship owners and the stakeholders here. Now, I am grateful for the government for establishing the steering committee on commodity trading. Now, riding on the half-rate tax concession for commodity traders, we should attract more leading enterprises to set up operations in Hong Kong. When there is a commodity trading ecosystem in Hong Kong, there will be greater demand for maritime services. By then, ship leasing, marine insurance, as well as other derivative trade will take place in Hong Kong. Second, we need to bolster Hong Kong's transshipment hub position by bolstering our professional services. Now, most goods would be re-exported from Hong Kong. We need to amend the law to extend the exemption regime for articles in transit from air to sea air intermodal transshipments. Now, we should set aside more logistic sites for intermodal transshipments because we need facilities on the land as well as the sea for transshipment to take place. Now, we need to enhance the efficiency for high value-added electronic goods. This will also strengthen Hong Kong's role as a node in the GBA export industry. Now, we need to use maritime industry and green transformation as an entry point. Now, I support the government's bid to launch the Green Maritime Fuel Bunkering Incentive Scheme and also the Green Vessels Registration Incentive. Now, traders are more aware of the carbon footprints of their goods. With better green fuel bunkering services in Hong Kong, we can enhance our appeal to foreign vessels and support the maritime industry in return. Now, we need to be supported by international traders. Now, by creating a strong ecosystem and pursuing green transformation, we can achieve the goal of using trade to support the maritime industry and vice versa. I so submit. I support the motion and the amendment. Mr. Gary Chen. Thank you, President. President, the government is now actively preparing for the promulgation of Hong Kong's 5-year plan to fully align with the National 15th Five-Year Plan. How can we use green transformation to consolidate and enhance our position as an international shipping center? That's something we need to think about. The motion moved by Mr. Andrew YAO provides a good opportunity for us to ponder on that. Now, these are my suggestions. Now, according to the news, 2 years ago, the second largest SAF manufacturer has signed an investment letter of intent with the Dongguan government to build a new production site in Dongguan with $10 billion invested in the next 5 years. There will be an annual production capacity of 450,000 tons of SAF. Now that's exactly how a highly efficient government working together with an efficient market. Now it's a good example. First of all, there are 3 international airports in the Bay Area with 200 million visitors handling capacity. So there is great demand for sustainable air fuel. And second, according to the EU as well as the International Aviation Organization, the use of SAF, sustainable aviation fuel, has become mandatory. So there is certainty behind the demand for SAF. Now the government should lead different sectors, including the research and development sectors, to invest in the development of SAF. So that's the example of SAF. Now the example is transferable to the maritime industry. Now the 3 major ports in the Bay Area, in 2025, the accumulated throughput has reached 75 million TEUs, accounting for 40% of the global volume of 140 million TEUs. Now, there is also the decarbonization goal set by the IMO by 2050. Green methanol fuel is one of the most popular choices. Now, the scale of the ports, as well as the scalability of green methanol fuel bunkering, have provided favorable conditions. So in the next 5 years, we can pursue collaboration with Dongguan in terms of green SAF and duplicate the experience to the cross-boundary industry chain of maritime sector. Now, by harnessing the country's production capacity of green biofuel, we can create a base of green methanol fuel manufacturing so as to form an entire supply chain of green methanol fuel manufacturing and bunkering. We have the absolute advantage here. And like other members said, we have other advantages in terms of maritime arbitration, ship leasing, financing, and arbitration. We have massive experience in these areas. These are needed for high value-added maritime industry. Combining green methanol bunkering as well as other high value-added services, we can greatly enhance our competitiveness as an international shipping and maritime center. I also support the motion and the amendment. If there are no other members who wish to speak, I will now invite Ms. Andrew YAO to speak on the amendments. Ms. Andrew YAO. Thank you, President. First of all, I give my heartfelt thanks to Ms. Julia LAU for enriching my original motion. I support her amendment. She has further completed my motion, especially in terms of green maritime fuel bunkering, smart port development, and also International Maritime Arbitration Center. These are key areas. She has provided concrete views on those areas. Now, on green maritime fuel bunkering, the IMO has set the targets to achieve decarbonization goals by 2023 and 2030 and 2050. We are at a critical juncture of green transformation. As an international shipping center, we have to pick up speed in developing green fuel bunkering services and trading. Now, according to the action plan on green maritime fuel bunkering announced last year, there are 5 strategies and 10 action plans, including multi-pronged development, streamlining approved process, establishing warehouses and anchorage spaces, as well as working guidelines for LNG and methanol bunkering. Now, by 2026, we will have to achieve 11% reduction in carbon, as well as 30% of carbon reduction for our ports by 2030. And we have unique strengths with the backing of the country. The country is the main manufacturer of a wide range of green fuel. We enjoy stability in this regard. Ms. Julia LAU's amendment also mentioned accelerating the development of Hong Kong into a green maritime fuel bunkering and trading center. That echoes the visions set down in the action plan. It also complemented my motion concerning promoting the use of green fuels. Now, we should enhance the legislative framework and tax mechanism to attract more ships to receive our green fuel bunkering services. Now, we need to strengthen our position as an international arbitration center for maritime stakeholders. This is important for our soft power. International maritime arbitration is key. We have a common law system, and we have a lot of talents who are familiar with foreign-related and maritime laws. We also have IMO support. Many ship owners and lessors have chosen Hong Kong as a seat for arbitration. We should promote it further. I urge the relevant departments to actively liaise with the legal sector and the maritime sector to strengthen promotion and training to enhance our impact in terms of maritime arbitration. Now, Ms. Julia Lau's suggestions are pragmatic and reasonable. It aligns with the green transformation trend in the world as well as harness our strengths. I urge members to support the motion and also the amendment. I so submit.
Secretary for Transport and Logistics. Madam President, once again, I thank Mr. Andrew YAO for his mention and Ms. Julia LAU for her amendment. I also thank the 30-plus members for their valuable views. In her opening speech, the Secretary has discussed in detail the latest progress of the various tasks pursued by the transport and logistics in recent years about Hong Kong's shipping industry. Members have also discussed their views and expectations for Hong Kong's future development as an international shipping center. And that has given us quite a number of insights. I want to take this opportunity to tell members about what plans we have from a macro view. The global shipping industry is experiencing a transformation. Geopolitical complexities have hastened the restructuring of the global supply chain. Digital transformation, going green and going low carbon have become an irreversible trend. With this backdrop, Hong Kong's shipping industry is grappling with fierce global competition, but we also presented with key opportunities of structural upgrading. We must identify, adapt to, and embrace change. We must seize this key window in the next 5 to 10 years. We must turn Hong Kong from a traditional international shipping center into a global maritime capital with independent impact. Being a global maritime capital means leadership and impact in the international shipping community rather than just throughput or the size of vessel operations. It's also about bringing together high-end maritime operations, drawing international capital, setting industry standards, as well as attracting and nurturing talent. In other words, we have to be more than just a key logistics node in the region. We have to become an integrated shipping hub, including or involving capital, services, innovation, and talent. Hong Kong has a number of core strengths that other hub shipping centers cannot replicate. We have a highly internationalized ecosystem and institutions. We have a bilingual common law system. We have a well-developed and transparent legal system. Our practice is fully aligned with global practice. We also have free flow of capital, information, and people. That makes Hong Kong one of the places to do business that global maritime enterprises are most at home with. Hong Kong is also one of the top 3 international financial centers of the world. We have a deep and diverse capital market. We can offer bank financing. We have a bond market. We offer insurance and risk management services. We offer financial services across the board. On supporting the green transformation of the shipping industry, we have this unique advantage in offering capital. Under one country, two systems, we have our country, which is a huge market and a huge industrial system. We also remain highly open to the global market. We can effectively connect the mainland and the global market. This is how we can play our role as a super connector and a super value adder. Hong Kong has also established an integrated system of professional support for ship management, ship leasing, maritime law, maritime arbitration, and marine insurance. We can provide one-stop professional services. Turning Hong Kong into a global shipping center is more than just about driving high-quality economic growth. It is also of strategic importance to our country. Hong Kong is our country's only international shipping center and free port outside the mainland. We can help our country with this building strength in shipping. We can leverage our well-developed legal, financial, and other professional services to reduce the risks of mainland enterprises looking to operate in the global market. We can also foster the use of RMB in international shipping settlement and financing. Hong Kong can also serve as a hub for international transshipment. We can complement other ports in the GBA and raise the competitiveness of the GBA port as a whole. We can support the GBA in becoming a world-class cluster of ports. With the existing international uncertainties, Hong Kong can offer a world-class cluster, a platform of capital and logistics services, which is also institutionally stable and efficient and aligned with global practice, and we can provide our country with greater resilience and security. On members' many suggestions, we agree that we should adopt a systematic approach to the shipping industry. For port development, we should look at not just handling capacity, but also we should give greater weight to value creation and explore cargoes from the hinterland. We should deepen our rail, sea, land, river intermodal transshipment. We should focus on high-value and time-sensitive goods such as cold chain logistics and high-value cargoes. This will help enhance the competitive edge of our port. On regional cooperation, we will continue to deepen collaboration with Guangzhou and Shenzhen. We will pursue differential development. We will each specialize in our own niches. We will strive for win-win outcomes and raise the profile of our port cluster in the global shipping industry. On technology, we will expedite the development of smart port initiatives. We will promote the use of the port community system. We will promote the sharing of logistics data. We will combine that with fintech and provide more effective trade financing support for the industry. We will also strengthen collaboration with relevant departments. We will enhance customs efficiency and provide greater transparency in information. On automation, we will encourage port operators to promote the upgrading of port facilities, and that includes bringing in wide remote control systems and smart transportation tools. As we boost efficiency, we will also bear in mind cost effectiveness and the impact on the community. Earlier this year, we launched the port community system, which is a key piece of infrastructure that is used by many industry players, and we're seeing more and more registrations. The system is well received. To support Hong Kong's logistics industry and unleash our industry's potential, we are teaming up with local banks and a financial startup to use the reliable data inside to facilitate trade financing. Hong Kong also has a huge offshore trade, so we will use technology to keep track of the goods, and that will give our banks a full picture in terms of the logistics data, so that businesses engage in offshore trade will have easier access to bank financing. We're also exploring the use of the port community system to link up Hong Kong's port with other ports elsewhere. We will promote the sharing of logistics data. We're also working with the Customs and Excise Department so that we can receive inspection and detention notices for goods, and that will give the industry greater transparency in information. In the end, that will mean greater efficiency and a more favorable business environment. On green transformation, Hong Kong will work on turning itself into a leading green fuel bunkering and trading center in the region. We will improve the infrastructure. In southern Qingyi, there's a green fuel storage facility, and we're now doing a feasibility study, and we're also looking into the use of green hydrogen and green ammonia. The international shipping community is going through a green transformation. Building green vessels or modifying existing vessels will involve huge costs. This is where Hong Kong can leverage its role as a financial center. We will foster the deep integration of the financial and the shipping industries so that we can provide the capital needed for buying or refitting vessels, and that can help the industry meet the decarbonization goals. On high value added services, we will continuously improve the tax concessions so that we can draw more maritime enterprises and commodity traders to come here, and we will further strengthen Hong Kong's role as a maritime dispute resolution center. We will also promote reform of the shipping registration system. There will be greater flexibility in the system so that the Hong Kong flag will become more appealing and more competitive in the global scene. On maritime arbitration and marine law, Hong Kong is a major dispute resolution service center in the Asia Pacific. We have institutional strengths, including a well-developed legal system, a bilingual common law system, and also a wide offering of arbitration bodies. We also have the advantage because our country is a state party to the New York Convention. We can offer a highly efficient and reliable arbitration system. Hong Kong has also been designated by BIMCO as one of the 4 arbitration seats for standard contract. This shows Hong Kong's leading position in global maritime arbitration. Under one country, two systems, we have a number of mutual legal assistance agreements with the mainland about arbitration. And that's appealing to those looking for maritime arbitration in Hong Kong. We're promoting our legal and maritime arbitration services to the mainland enterprises. We're encouraging businesses to choose Hong Kong's law for their law of contract and also Hong Kong as a seat for the arbitration so that these businesses can settle their dispute in a place they had home with. Last year, the Hong Kong Shipowners Mutual Assurance Association and the dedicated marine risk pool was set up so that enriches our maritime industry. On collaboration, we will work with the Hong Kong Maritime and Port Development Board. We will also forge ties with the International Maritime Board. We will join high-level maritime conferences and events to further raise the profile of Hong Kong and also give Hong Kong a greater say in the global shipping community. We will also bring more professionals in the maritime sector to Hong Kong. We need talent to develop the maritime industry, which is a highly specialized industry. Industry professionals need a huge amount of time and a vast amount of resources for the training. We take training of such talent seriously. Since 2014, the government has been providing support through the Maritime and Aviation Training Fund to support the training of maritime talent. We want to expand the pool of maritime professionals. We have talked to a number of maritime institutions locally and those outside Hong Kong. We're fostering partnerships between local and non-local maritime institutions so that we can train up such professionals. And there is a partnership about training professionals for green shipping fuel. Now, for our own universities, we also encourage partnerships so that our training is comprehensive and diverse so that more young people can join the trade. Training local professionals aside, the government has also compiled the talent list so that we can take a more focused approach to attracting quality talent to Hong Kong, and then they can come here to work and settle down here. The talent list has 6 categories of professionals for maritime industries such as marine insurance, green shipping, and also shipping and commerce. Madam President, Hong Kong is at a pivotal historic moment where we can build on past success. We will closely follow our country's 15th five-year plan. We will fully leverage Hong Kong's unique advantage in finance. We will foster the deep integration of shipping and finance so that we move faster in creating this modern shipping system. We will consolidate and enhance Hong Kong's status as an international shipping center. So then Hong Kong becomes the international shipping capital, and then we can make a greater contribution to our country's drive to become a leading country in shipping. We will remain closely in touch with the sector. We will drive various measures to continuously launch policies in favor of the shipping industry. We will make sure our policies can adapt to ever-evolving challenges and seize new challenges as so submitted. Thank you.
I now call upon Ms. Julia LAU to move an amendment. Ms. Julia LAU. President, I move my amendment. I propose the question to you that the amendment moved by Ms. Julia LAU be passed. I now put the question to you as stated. Will members please proceed to vote? Please press the present button. With those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members present, that is, those returned by the Election Committee and those returned by functional constituencies and geographical constituencies. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Andrew YAO, you still have 1 minute and 1 second to reply to the debate will come to a close. Mr. Andrew YAO. Thank you, President. I thank the 33 members who have spoken today, including Ms. Julia LAU, who moved the amendment. Through the discussion today, we see clearly that Hong Kong, as the international shipping center of the country, must fully align with the National 15th Five-Year Plan. And through the first ever 5-year plan for Hong Kong, we need to upgrade and transform our maritime industry. We must ride on the favorable wind of the country's development and also the green transformation to keep our leading position. We need to set sail and galvanize our brand as the Pearl of the Orient. I so submit. I now put the question to you that Mr. Andrew YAO's motion as amended by Ms. Julia LAU be passed. Will member please press the present button. With those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members present, that is, those returned by the Election Committee and those returned by functional constituencies and geographical constituencies. I declare the motion as amended passed. The Council is now suspended until 9 a.m. tomorrow.